Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Hello and welcome to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. I'm Jeff Gorham. Pep Fernandez is on the road. He will be joining us momentarily, but we are also here with the legendary Coach Tim Hatch. Tim Hatch, how you doing today?
Outstanding. It's a pleasure to be here. Always an honor to fill Pep's size 7 Huaraches.
Nice. Well, we are brought to you today by Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off Alessandro Boulevard. And Ken Sporting Goods. Ken Sporting Goods has been in the business for more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all of your sporting gear needs. Letterman's jackets, balls, caps, gloves, bats, you name it, they've got it. Check out kensportinggoods.com. And Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Coach Ray Bass and his team bring excellence, experience, passion, and commitment to grooming great athletes. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. Remember, their first strength and speed class is always free if you mention me, Jeffrey G. All right, that sounded pretty good. Hey, small group sessions only, max of 12 athletes. Make sure you go to Boost Performance Training in Corona. And Catalano Motors in Corona. Buy, trade, finance a new-to-you car or truck. You have high expectations when buying a car? Let Catalano Motors meet and exceed them. Committed to excellence, just like the Raiders. It is Catalano Motors, located off Temesco Canyon Road in Corona. Well, we had a big day yesterday. We were live and amplified from UC Irvine as the Highlanders and Irvine Anteaters went at it. And we are joined by my co-host and best pal in the whole wide world. He said it on the air, Pep Fernandez. Pep, how you doing today?
Hey, guys, what's up? You know, my favorite moment from the UC Irvine, UC Riverside basketball game, Jeff, do you remember what it was?
The best moment was the... I don't remember, no, because I wasn't too happy. I was depressed they lost, so I wasn't too happy at all. So what was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment of the game is when we went to go get something to eat. And I was curious to see what I was going to pick out and what you would pick out from the snack bar. Tim, what do you think Jeff picked out from the snack bar?
I'm going to have to go with a large hot dog.
Hey! Pretty close. Pretty close.
It was. Jeff went with the chili dog. I went with just some candy, some like Jolly Rancher candy.
Yeah, you bought Jolly Rancher candy. It was in a giant box, and then when he opened it, there was like 4 Jolly Ranchers inside the box.
Yeah, it was a super big waste of money.
I thought you were going to say something about the game, but I guess, yeah, if we're talking about the game, that might have been the best moment was when we went into the snack bar.
Yeah, you know, it was actually pretty cool. We'll talk about this later, too, but we ran into Brandon Banker and the Rancho Verde Mustangs. We had a chance to look around a little bit. There's a lot of history inside that gym. Like, there was a lot of cool things, but the actual game was not pretty.
No, it was a tough one for UC Riverside. They lost 79-40, and it was just one of those games. They're on this 8-game slide, and, you know, you got to feel really bad for our buddy and pal, Justin Bell, who's really trying his best to kind of hold this team together. You lose Alex Larson in the end of the first half with a bad ankle sprain, and it looks like he's going to be out for quite some time. They're going to have to pick up the pieces. Somebody's going to have to step up. What do you do in that situation, Pep?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's where character really comes in, because when your back's against the wall, that's when the true leaders show up. That's where the character comes out, because it would be really easy to just fold up shop and just go through the motions through the rest of the season. But we know Justin Bell. We know a lot of the guys on this team. They're not allowing that to happen. I mean, even going down by 30, close to 40 points last night. I mean, they were playing down to the last whistle. They all were, but if I could just, you know, single out one guy just for the sake of this conversation was Johnny Kennedy at a Rancho Verde. I mean, you know, here they were down 30 or 35, and he's, you know, jumping for offensive rebounds and throwing his body on the floor, trying to, you know, get the loose balls. And I mean, that's what you want to see. Like, if they had completely given up, showing the body language that they just didn't care anymore, like, I would be concerned. But they simply just got beat by a really good UC Irvine team that was just bigger than them, had more scores, and they were playing in their home gym, but they didn't give up. That's the good thing. They did not give up.
Yeah, we've seen UC Riverside play, you know, every game this season, and that's the one thing we can say is they play hard from buzzer to buzzer. even when they're down, they're not giving up, and that's the one thing that you can say about Coach Bell and his coaching staff is they've really held it together. Considering it's been a tough season for these young men because they lose their head coach right before conference. They've kind of got to build this thing back up and try to salvage a few wins just to get in that 8th spot so they make the playoffs at the end of the season here.
Yeah, who's to say they don't pick off a team here or there down the stretch and they sneak into the Big West Conference, but it's stacked against them. DK is still suspended. Alex Larson, we don't know if or when he's going to come back. There's just so many. It's an uphill battle. There's just so many things stacked against him. But then again, that's where the character comes out. That's where the leaders are really going to show up because it'd be too easy to just give up on the season. But the good news is you don't have to finish in first or second or third place to advance to the conference tournament. All you got to do is finish in the top 8. So if you can pick off a Northridge or a Poly, maybe a Long Beach State here or there, you're right back in the thick of things. Maybe DK comes back. Maybe Alex Larson gets healthy. All these things could come together just in the nick of time. But again, that's a pretty big hill to climb.
Yeah, and they're playing at 5 o'clock, I believe, on Saturday at the SRC versus a very good UC Santa Barbara team, which we saw the second game in conference earlier this year. So there's a lot riding on the next game, and then they go up to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and then you are off to Hawaii, my friend.
Yeah, in fact, Hawaii right now the first place team in the Big West Conference. So, you might think it's a quick little vacation for the Highlanders, but man, it's going to be all business as they go over there. That's going to be a tough battle against Hawaii. Yeah,
and speaking of Hawaii and thinking of brighter pastures, just let's cross town and go over to Cal Baptist, where Cal Baptist is having a solid season, but they're going up against Azusa Pacific tonight at Azusa. That's going to be a great game. Not only for Coach Croy, but for Coach Justin Leslie of Paris High School. 2 top teams in the conference going at it. Cal Baptist has to win these next couple games if they want to continue to stay atop of that conference.
Yeah, remember, Jeff, this could be it. Cal Baptist is going Division I. So this long rivalry that they've enjoyed with APU here in Southern California, this might be the last time we see something like this. So I know they love that rivalry. It's been a great battle, a back-and-forth battle between the two schools, especially in men's basketball. So if you're part of this rivalry, if you're head coach Rick Croy, if you're the Lancers, I'm sure they're really soaking it in and enjoying this because, again, a lot of things are going to change, and for the better for Cal Baptist University, but a lot of things are going to change going forward.
Yeah, Cal Baptist beat Azusa Pacific on January 13th, 75-69. A little rematch at Azusa this evening, and they end up playing Concordia next Thursday. Concordia gave them a defeat in Irvine, 72-59 in their last meeting. So, like I said, very important games here for the Highlanders.
Yeah, we're hoping, not only UCR, but CBU finishes up strong. For UCR, I guess the battle cry is to just win a couple games and get to the Big West Conference tournament. And for Cal Baptist, again, this is kind of the staple question we ask all the Lancer teams, but, go out big in their final season as a full Division II member of the Pac-West Conference. They've got a really good team, and I know, like the baseball team that we're going to hear from later in the show, the goal is conference championship. The goal is a national title. High expectations for CBU in their final season in the Pac-West Conference.
Well, Pep, our guy, Cullen Holt, last night was at the big game. The Celtics versus the Clippers. Celtics upended the Clippers, 113-102. But what was the big news of the game last night?
Well, I got the juicy details. Cullen actually was part of a contest between the first and second quarters, and he didn't win the contest. I had to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Whoa. He represented the Inland Sports Show, and he lost?
He did. Hey, well, I'll give you more details about it later in the show when I'm back in studio. He's going to share all the juicy details of him being on the court at Staples Center last night.
Well, Pep, I know you have to go because you're calling a game today, aren't you?
That's right. Pacific against Vista Del Lago, big-time boys soccer. We're just about set for kickoff, Jeff, so I'm going to get rolling here.
Well, thank you, Pep. We will hear again from Pep in the 4 o'clock hour, and he will be with us in studio after 5. So, Pep, have a good call, and I'll try to man the fort here with Tim Hatch.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
All right, thanks. All right, when we come back, we will be joined by one of our all-time favorites, fellow bald guy, Tim Cook out of Life Pacific College. He's got some good things going on. They're right in the middle of their conference, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his son, Austin, Damien High School basketball, and Life Pacific. We will be right back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most
forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Your mama sure does care about your schooling, son. You don't say much, do you?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
With my double blade axe and my hobnail boots, I go where the timber.
We are back here on the Inland Sports Show. We are here every single weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I'm Jeff Gorham. He is Tim Hatch. And we are here in studio for the next 2+ hours. We're joined right now by one of the favorite guests of the Inland Sports Show. He's got the best laugh. He's got a really good smile. And the best part is, he's bald and beautiful. He is the one and only Tim Cook of Life Pacific College, the head coach and athletic director. Timmy, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I still tell people I'm the second best bald guy, not in the studio right now.
You are the second best bald guy. Tim is right. Tim Hatch is with me. He's almost bald. That's why he's wearing a hat today, because he's sitting below me, and if I look over at him, you can see the top of his head, and he's really bald. Hi, Tim.
Yeah, Timmy needs to get the Gillette out and just let it go. Just let it go, Tim.
Like they said in Frozen, let it go, let it go. And I know Hatch knows every single line of that movie because he has a granddaughter who loves that show.
Okay. All right. We all know it's a daughter. It's a daughter.
Get a set of Bics for Christmas.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, get him. He did tell me this though. Hatch told me, he's how old are you now? Are you 55?
Yeah.
He told me this the other day. He goes, "Hey, I can get cheap golf. I can get cheap movies. I can get cheap Denny's." And I went, "Hey, you're a senior citizen. Congratulations."
Yeah. Just because you got to pay for 2 movie tickets to sit in the seat.
How dare you?
And cheaper rent with a pool.
Yes, exactly. And
hey, wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
And just before long, he'll be living in some assisted living, and his granddaughter will be taking care of him.
I'm being attacked by a double team here. I need to reverse the ball quick.
Well, Coach, how are the Warriors doing so far? Because I was wearing my Warrior Up T-shirt last night after I got home from the UCR beating.
Man, we won't talk about that.
That's a tough one.
It was a really tough one. I saw some pictures and some highlights of that. I'll tell you this: we might have played the best basketball game last night in my 2-year tenure here, and that says a lot because we made it to the national tournament last year. But we've had some adversity this year. We've lost a couple guys. We've had injuries. It's typical stuff with teams that are trying to persevere through some adversity and those things. That's just basketball and football. You're going to have injuries and those things. But we had 34 assists last night. Let me repeat that: 34 assists. That has to be a record. I haven't looked at the books yet, but that has to be some kind of. We had 20 assists in the first half, you guys.
Yeah, that's more assists than Jeff had in his whole career. Jeez. That is an amazing stat.
Yeah. You put up 104 points?
104 points, 15 3-pointers, 34 assists. We created 31 turnovers.
Holy smokes. And like you said, you guys are a little short-handed. You've had the injury bug. You've had to get rid of some guys. I know that, you run a tight ship. You're the athletic director. But more so, your college is run, you guys are a very well-respected college, and you got to really live by the standards of your college. Is it difficult sometimes when you bring in guys and they don't kind of fit, and if they don't fit and you have to, by losing guys, what's your addition? I mean, how do you keep it together?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great question because really is, people always, you can throw darts at you and say, hey, you hide behind your Christian aspect and all that, and I'm very transparent, you're not in control of 18 through 24-year-olds. You can only give them tools and education and make sure that they're doing the right things and they're going to chapel and going to class and making sure that they know how to operate in a faith-based school. And most of our kids, we do a really, really good job of vetting, and that happens. But every once in a while, I've been doing it for 25 years, and I've had some really, really good kids. And I haven't had any really bad kids, but we have a couple that will walk the line, and they get involved in some things that they shouldn't be in. And there are certain standards that you have to abide by, and there's certain things where you cannot turn the other cheek and just say, okay, you're really good, so we'll just let it slide. And everyone's accountable to the same policies. And I think that's part of running a really good program and sticking to your laurels and making sure that these kids are accountable. And I'll tell you what, last night was a perfect combination of sticking and staying the course and buying into the program and doing everything. And I was so proud of these guys. It was unbelievable.
Now, you guys are putting up a lot of numbers. Now, have you had to change your system a little bit with the losses of some certain players? Have you changed it? Or you guys I know you said you're tiny. You guys are giving up a lot of rebounds. Or are you running kind of a system where you're getting up a lot of points? Obviously, you put up 104 last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great the observation. Obviously, when early in the year we had a little bit more inside outside, and we are really, really moving the ball. We're spreading you out now, running some 41 motion, 4-around-1 motion. We're running a lot of cut and screen and move and handoff series like what you would see with the Spurs and the Warriors, and we're shooting a lot of threes. And we have some great shooters, so when we shoot well and we play hard, the other thing I've implemented is 2 more press sequences that have really helped. We've got a really aggressive 2-2-1 and a 1-2-1-1 that has been really, really good. And so we're combating the lack of size that we have with great with the skill, and we're really scrapping with the small group. And if we shoot the ball and we scrap like last night, it came all together and we share the ball, it could get interesting these next few games where we could make a little run at it.
Hey, Coach, Jeff was a big proponent of the system when he was coaching at Norte Vista, putting up a lot of points. You guys like to shoot threes. Is it similar to the system, what you're trying to do right now?
Well, I mean, a little bit of everything. I've kind of taken some of my old mentors, and then some of the old mentors that I hung out with in the NBA, and then some of my coaches and their philosophy of spreading the floor and having the spacing and the timing and screening. We run a lot of pick and roll and pick and pop, and we leave the floor open for our point guard. He's a first-team All-American. He had 18 assists last night. And
wow!
If he gets underneath the free throw line and we spot up in the right spots, we have corner angles and 45-degree angles, and we're running pick and roll stuff. When the defense collapse and we're kicking that ball and really letting it move on the perimeter, it was a dangerous combination last night. So there's all different variations of people calling different systems, and like the Redlands used to run the 5-out stuff, and
with Gary Smith,
shoot threes every single time, and then they wouldn't run back on D, and they'd give up 2 and then shoot 3, and so there's all different variations. But we're really just spreading you out and running one hybrid post who can pick and roll or pick and pop, and then we're letting people really handle the ball, distribute the ball, and shoot the ball. We've got some great three-point shooters.
So, Coach, who are some of those mentors that you were saying that you went back to?
Well, I mean, you got Coach Collins was a big mentor of mine at Cal Baptist. I was under him for 8 years. Don Casey, who I spent a bunch of time with, who used to coach the Clippers and the Celtics. And, just those kind of guys. I spent so much time just getting philosophy and talking to them. And I wish that I could have learned something from one of my colleagues that I've spent some time with in Tony Bennett at Virginia, but I can't play defense like that.
Not too many people can. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I wish I could. I try to pick his brain, and we text back, and we've been friends for a long time. But I'm just amazed at how he plays defense. I mean, you can't teach that any better.
Now, Coach, you got 8 games left, and you guys are right now playing the best of anybody out west. Explain to maybe our listeners how your division, I know this is your last year before you go fully into the GSAC, but how does this play when you get into playoffs? Because I know there's a West region, and how does that break down once you guys get going here after these 8 games?
Yeah, so we're in an independent NEI West region, which is associated with the National Christian Colleges. And a lot of people just think, okay, well, that's a rinky-dink thing. You're actually in it with Biola, who's a big-time Division II, Dallas Baptist, Colorado Christian. These are unbelievable. These are like CBU-type teams. And you've got a wide variety of different things going on. So you've got some Division IIs, NCAA Division IIs in it because they're waiting for their full acceptance. So they're a part of the Christian College Association if they're a faith-based school. So we have this wide variety, and you have these regions. So we're in the West region right now with Biola and Ottawa and these schools that are very, very good. And then the Midwest and the South have, big-time Division II schools that are involved. And so it's not this little mom and pop stuff that people think it is. And then we have to go from that transition into the best conference in the country with Westmont, Vanguard, Masters. Next year's schedule, we're playing at UC Irvine, at San Jose State, at Cal State Northridge. So we're on pace to keep competitiveness going, and also we've got to get our brand out there, you guys.
So, hey, Coach, I noticed that after this Saturday's rematch against Bethesda, you hit the road to go back home up to Oregon. What's travel like for you? Do you take vans? Do the players have study time, tutors?
It's great. We get that asked all the time. We actually get to fly there, and that's a big, big thing, especially for recruiting and those kind of things. We get to fly there, and we pick up vans at the airport, and we stay at a nice hotel. We only have we've always done two to a room. A lot of people go 4 to a room, and what's really nice is some of this money that we make from the Division I games goes into our travel and some extra clothing for the kids, Nike stuff. We really invest it back into the program, and it makes things. It really helps you try to win basketball games because these teams that we play that come down here from Oregon, they have to drive.
Wow, and that's quite a trip.
How burned out they are.
I could just picture him driving in one of those station wagons, like from Vacation. A big Woody, several Woody station wagons driving down the coast.
You know what I would do if we didn't have any money and I couldn't raise any money like a buffoon? I would probably drive a Scooby-Doo mobile.
That would be sweet. But I will say this: when the Oregon schools come down here, are they all pasty white guys?
Oh my gosh, Jeff! You can't believe it. Pasty's not the word for it. I mean, it's Casper.
Translucent guys. You can see through. You can see their heart beating while they're playing.
But man, they can run the flex though. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I figure all those schools up there. That's the Gonzagas and all those schools. They got to run good offenses because they're like ghosts. They're scary looking.
It's scary. It's my kids are always very impressed and respect these guys when we play in Oregon because they're like, Coach, you coach just like you're from here. Everything's timing and spacing, and they start running flex on us, and we've got all sorts of different schemes that we try to do defensively. And they definitely know how to jump, stop, lift, fake, and shoot the ball.
And they can play at night.
They can play in the dark. Hey, Coach, we can't let you go without talking about our favorite player, Austin Cook, and Damian. How's our boy Austin doing?
Oh my gosh! Well, he's working super hard. He's on what are they, number 15 in California in the LA Times. They're number 9 right now in Division I, which is the open. They're on the top of the Open Division watch. And I don't know if you saw the other day, you guys. They lost the number 2 and number 10 ranked nationally, Etiwanda, in overtime.
I saw that, but they took care of Los Al the other day. As you say, it was a massacre at Los Al, 99-63. Hey, tell us about some of these other guys that Damian has. They got some dudes out there.
Yeah, they got some great dudes. And Los Altos, the coach is a friend of mine, Jeff Lucas, who has a great player, Jared Lucas, who's probably going to play in the Pac-12. And so Damian just did an awesome job defending their team. But you've got Cam Shelton, who is probably one of the biggest hogs as a player. Is just, you cannot stop him. He's like a Russell Westbrook of high school basketball. He's putting up 28 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He's almost getting a triple-double every single time out. He just plays with this huge motor. They've got a really good freshman in Malik Thomas, who's just a man-child, and he's going to just keep getting better and better. He's probably a Pac-12 player. Eric Hanzik at the center, who's just he's a great, he's a 6'6", probably a low Division I type of kid. He can step out, he can step in. He's very intelligent in the way he runs offense. You got Austin as a sophomore, 6'4" shooting guard. You got another shooting guard, Elijah McCullough, who signed Division I with Sac State. Cam signed Division I at Northern Arizona. I think they got an absolute steal. I think he's probably a level higher than that, but that's not up to me. We always have to listen to that, where people are like, oh, they stole him and all that. Well, they probably did a great job of recruiting him too. So they're just loaded with talent and skill, and they got a great coach and a great coaching staff, and they're going to make some noise. They have a legitimate chance to win a state title.
Well, Coach, I have a bag over here of clothing. It's in the corner of the studio, and it's all of my 5-year-old son's shorts. So next time you come in studio, I'm going to give you this bag of shorts to give Austin, and just let him know that he will be able to shoot and play like a Gorham in his mini shorts, and we will keep an eye on him for the rest of the year. I check out his stats all the time. Coach, you're doing a great job as a dad. You're doing a great job as an AD, and doing a great job as a coach. We love having you on the Inland Sports Show, and good luck to you the rest of the way, my friend.
I love you guys. Thanks for the opportunity to be on. One more last thing. I might empty that bag and puke if my son doesn't unroll his shorts to a decent level.
Just to let you know, well, I don't know if you could hear this, but the entire time we've been on, we've been kind of pranking you a little bit. We've been playing the song "Who's Got Short Shorts," and then we also played a little Paul Bunyan, the Paul Bunyan theme song.
Oh yes.
So I will send you I will forward you this show just so you can play it for Austin and he can listen.
I love it. And his mom.
Yes. Well, give my best to everybody. Coach, you are the best. You are now have been on the show more than anybody else in the history of the Inland Sports Show. So right now you're number one. Just know that.
Oh my gosh. I love you guys.
Just like Dick Clark used to say, number one in your heart or something like that.
Coach, something like
good luck and have a good trip.
Yeah, Coach, have a good one, and thank you very much. And that was Coach Cook of Life Pacific College. We will be right back after we take this short break, and we're going to be joined by the SID of COD. That sounded pretty cool. Brian Silva. He will join us after the break on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei! Pain!
Did you say utes?
Yeah, 2 utes.
What is a ute?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
It's the Muppet Show.
The best show ever when I was growing up was the Muppet Show. God, what a great show. We are here live and amplified in the Fox Sports studios here in Riverside. We are the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. I am joined here with Tim Hatch. Greg Holla is playing the music and the tunes and the great theme songs today. So good job there, Greg. Nice job, buddy. Well, hey, we rarely get out to the desert, but there's a lot of fans out there in the desert and a lot of good sports. We have some great sports out in the desert, and we have our friend, the legendary local figure, Mr. You were a politician, I'd have to say, the great, the SID of COD, Brian Silva. Brian Silva, thanks for joining us here on the Inland Sports Show. How you doing today?
Very good. It's an honor to be on with you, Jeff, and Tim Hatch. Nice to be with you. I heard Natalie was going to be on, so I definitely wanted to be here.
Yeah, Natalie, I was really disappointed. They sent me a bill. I haven't told this to anybody, but I got an email from the company that she represented, and it was from her boss, and I got a bill for like $35,000.
That is so awesome. You don't know how.
And I said, well, because I said I was going to buy, I think I was going to buy 3 copiers, and they were like $10,000 each. I wasn't renting them, and then I was going to rent her to man my printers and my copiers and that ended up being like $3,000 a day, and it was ridiculous. And then I said, I will not deal with you to the woman who was running this the sale. I said, I will only deal with Natalie. And then she said, you can only deal with me. And I said, then you do not have my business. So I gave her. Yeah, but I was gonna have to put my house up for a second mortgage. It was been bad. My wife would have been upset because I would have had these giant printers and copiers in my house. It would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, and it would have been tough to have your party on Super Bowl Sunday with all those printers.
I tell you what, I could have printed all my own invitations. Pep had the Slurmaid, which was the slosh/mermaid. And that was a big success because he did it, it was like on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. I'm doing mine during the Super Bowl, and I thought I had a cool theme. I got Spider-Man, I got a big Spider-Man jumper, I got the pool heated, I got all kinds of good food, but I'm only going to have like 3 people there.
Well, that's unfortunate to hear. I'm sure you have a lot more than that. The Super Bowl is obviously basically a national holiday anyway. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have many more people because I don't have very many friends other than Tim Hatch and Pep Fernandez. I don't think I have any. No one wants to talk to me. I am like shunned. I have the scarlet letter on my chest. I walk around town. They go, "Oh, I'm not talking to that guy."
He could invite Natalie. Natalie and the sales crew.
Natalie and Cullen could go on a date. It'd just be my family and Cullen and Natalie. Well, hey,
there you go.
Now, Brian, you're the sports information director of COD, but you've been around a few different places. You originated. You are an OG Riverside guy. Tell us where you started.
Yep.
Tell us. I know you're a Ram, aren't you?
Yes, graduated from Ramona High School in 1997, and was the sports editor of the Rampage, and worked with your friend Ann Akers. So she was my advisor for the Rampage, and also worked with a good friend of all of ours, Matt Howell, who's now the Royal Valley, and he was my senior elective teacher, and so I was doing so well in the elective class that Matt was like, "Would you please get out of my class? And I could use your help as my TA." And so I ended up grading papers from that.
Now, did you have was my brother there at the time? Was Coach Gorham?
That's a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he might have been back in New Hampshire at that time. But yeah, he was nuts. He and Matt Howell used to to roam the halls of Ramona, and they were crazy. But you not only went from Ramona, you went to, was it UC Riverside, or did you go to RCC first and then UC Riverside?
Yeah, RCC. Yep.
And
I was the student body president in 2000-2001 over at Riverside City College, and then after that went over to UCR, where I met my lovely wife, who works with your lovely wife over at Norte Vista.
Yes, and very lovely.
Thank you.
She has the best hair on campus, just to let you know.
I still love to hear that.
Yeah, in the senior superlatives this year, we're going to have like the faculty in the yearbook, and it's going to be, your wife is going to be best hair, and then I'm going to have best hair.
You guys say back to back.
Yeah, we're going to stand back to back and pose, and that'll be the picture in the yearbook there.
Oh, and Trish will love that. Yes, that will be great.
Yeah, but I'm always concerned. Like, your wife will walk by me and she says hi to me, but she's always looking at me like, you're nuts. I don't know if I'm going to talk to you. That's all I always feel that way.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure most students are nervous to feel that way about you.
Yes, they do. Now you're over at COD now as the sports information director, and you guys are doing some big things out there at COD. It's still part of the Inland Empire. You're still a Riverside County, but we want to know what's going on out there at COD. Tell us a little bit about the athletic programs out there.
Sure. So spring is big season for us, as it is for all the schools in the Pacific Coast Athletic Conference. It's the conference we're in, and we share the conference from some of the local schools with San Bernardino Valley College and Mount San Jacinto College. We're on the same conference. And baseball opens up the 2018 season tomorrow, Friday at 2 o'clock, and men's golf and our golf and tennis programs, as you would expect, are perennially very competitive. And our men's golf team starts their season this Sunday at the Point Conception Open up in Central California, and then men's tennis will start this weekend in Santa Barbara. And women's tennis will renew their season after a one-year hiatus. They'll be back on the court February 6th, and softball opens up their season on the road on February 10th. But the cool thing is, this season we added beach volleyball to our repertoire here at College of the Desert, and the Roadrunners will begin their season on February 23rd. So beach, we're taking basically our entire indoor program out to the sand, and it should be an interesting turn. Obviously, it's going to be different. Indoor and beach are completely different entities, so we're definitely stretching our abilities and our skill sets. But this, administration's excited. All of our sports teams are excited. So this should be a new move. And one other big thing. Of course, you can find all this on our website, CODathletics.com. That's a website I operate, and all our social media at COD_athletics. But we also went through a complete rebranding of the athletics logo, our Roadrunner mascot. It looks really sharp. We're looking really good, really good this year.
Now, Brian, Jeff has a Speedo, a volleyball, and some eligibility. Could he be able to play on this beach volleyball team?
It is for women, but
okay.
I got to be honest. I'm sure that we could find a spot for you. If you have eligibility, we will take you.
Now, my only concern about this beach volleyball thing is you have a very small window to practice, because if you're out in the summertime and if you're playing beach volleyball, wouldn't your feet just burn off?
It's funny. Our girls out there, the captain of the indoor team and the beach team, Ashton Linus, who is my student worker, and she works with me in the office, and she'll tell me that practices will start off real cool in the morning, but you go through a few rotations, and all of a sudden it gets really hot out there. So I don't know how they do it. It's a completely different animal. Yes. And I give them a lot of respect.
It's like walking on the sun in the middle of the summer. But they've got to have just incredible calluses. So if you want to date one of these young women, you don't want to rub their feet, because it'll hurt your hands.
Yeah, you have to make sure. Yeah, I'll just stop there.
Hey, Brian, how does community college, how do they fund sports like beach volleyball?
So that's I love that question. So the funding process would go through our administration, would filter it into the program and just add it as an additional a program that we offer at the college. Of course, it has to go through institutional review to make sure that it's something that we want to do. Usually what ends up happening in the development is we need to see if there's a real interest on campus and the campus community. So that includes everywhere that the Desert Community College District touches, and to see if there's a real interest within the community for a sport like this. And thankfully, with a relatively successful indoor volleyball program, making the transition to the beach seemed to be a no-brainer for us, definitely.
Okay, and your job as a sports information director is huge and time-consuming. Could you take us through, what's your daily routine as an SID at a school like COD?
So usually what we participate in, we'll have on a game day, in a typical game day situation, a couple of days prior to, I'll be setting up announcer script because I'll announce almost all of our events. Then I will work on the statistical element, inputting rosters, and making sure that when we're doing in-game live statistics that we are able to do those things accurately. And as we get into a game day situation, I'll have all my equipment, printer, paper, etc. We're playing music, and that responsibility falls on me as well. So there's a huge game management component. And then once the game concludes, we'll post-game interviews on our social media at COD_athletics, and we will get a post-game wrap-up that I will put together and toss on our website. Sometimes Ashton will write the post-game wrap-up, or more often than not, I'll be responsible for that, and we'll toss that up on the website. So we're pushing a lot of content, and that's just on game days. It's not to also add on some of the other peripheral stuff, including weekly, or what we call our Roadrunner Weekly, and a Roadrunner Reader, I should say. And that's an email that goes out to all of our campus community to let them know that what we're doing out at the Desert and the athletics department. And it's really been a nice transition. And I spent 9 years at San Bernardino Valley College developing these skill sets, and was really blessed for the opportunity there. And then received an opportunity to go move out to take those skill sets out to the Desert, and they've never had somebody with this ability before in that role. So the great thing is that everything I do seems to turn to gold, so I love it. They're really appreciative, and dealing with the TV media out there, it's a unique experience because you're dealing with TV and radio out there, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we are up against the clock here and some commercials, but I have to mention this. I think you might be the first elected official to be. The mayor's supposed to come on, but he's scared of me. But you are our first elected official on the Inland Sports Show, because you serve on more boards than anyone I know. Aren't you? You're on the Beaumont School Board, which you were elected to. That's an elected position. That means somebody had to vote for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a hard travel fight, but it's fun, and it's a blessing that my constituents put me in that position, and it looks like we might have some exciting news to share soon. But I can't elaborate any further than that. But I know we'll be in contact related to that, and serve on a couple other citizens oversight committees, and as well as president of the Beaumont Chamber of Commerce. So it's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
you're on more boards than a chess player. You are the man. This would be the great Brian Silva. Brian Silva, thank you for joining us today on the Inland Sports Show. You are one of our all-time favorites, and we will have you on all the time because you are one funny dude. So we appreciate you, and thank you so much, Brian, for joining the Inland Sports Show today.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, when we come back, we will have an interview with head coach Gary Adcock of the Cal Baptist Lancers and some of the ball players in his program. When we come back on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports, 1350 AM.
She comes home from work in about an hour and a half. It's a graveyard shift at the hospital. You gotta make some phone calls? You gotta call some people? Well, then do it!
Inland Empire sports fans turn.
service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
From the Cold Star Ice Studios, it's Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM, KUBE, Riverside.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Yeah. Come and knock on my door. We'll be waiting for you. Okay, we're done. Hey, this is the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We are here every single weekday from 3 to 6 p.m., and we are brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. It's been a fun first hour. We've had Brian Silva of the SID of COD. We also had the great Tim Cook, who has the most infectious laugh in the world. We got him to laugh a few times today. And right now, we have the patriarch, the father figure of the Inland Sports Show, Pep Fernandez. Pep, are you on the phone?
How are my kids doing?
Well, I don't know. I'm a wreck. This is the only time I have to be serious, Jeff. We've talked about this. When I'm solo in the studio, I'm not really solo. I got Hatch. He's kind of he's my training wheels.
Hola, Padre.
But no,
it reminds me. It reminds me of that scene from. You remember the Batman Lego movie that came out?
It's a great movie.
Oh, and he's like, don't call me Dad. And he's like, okay, Papa. He's like, don't call me Papa. Okay, Padre.
Love that movie.
Now, Pep, where's Pep right now? What are you doing?
Where's Pep?
Yeah, there we go.
I think he's sleeping outside. No, hey, listen, Pacific High School has a beautiful new stadium where they're going to play their home football games. And also, they're playing soccer inside here. Now, the football team, they didn't get a chance to play here because they had to play their home games at San Bernardino Valley College while they were still finishing construction on this place. But I can tell you, it's beautiful. It's got an all-weather track. The press box is state-of-the-art. And we've got a great soccer match, too. Pacific leading Vista Del Lago at halftime by a score of 2-1. Now, Pacific is first place in the Mountain Valley League. And if you go back to last season, I don't know if you guys remember this. I know everyone in that room is big soccer fans.
Yes, keep on. I love it.
I know you are. The Pacific girls soccer team, they made it all the way to the CIF Southern Section Division 7 championship game. They went all the way to the CIF finals. They lost a heartbreaker against San Gabriel Mission, but they made it all the way to the finals. Now, I'm saying this Pacific boys team could have another Cinderella run like we saw the Pacific girls last year. I mean, they're that good. They've got a lot of talent. And I do want to share, I don't know if we said this on the top of the show, but Pacific's head coach David Guijarro just sent me an email. He's not here, that he was in a motorcycle accident this morning. So we're hoping the best. Yeah, we're hoping that he's doing okay. I mean, I guess he's doing well enough to shoot me off an email here, but yeah, that was not good news. I didn't want to hear that. So Coach Guijarro, get better out there, and his team's up 2-1 here at halftime.
Well, it sounds like you're having a fun time. Is it cold out there?
It's actually not that bad. It actually feels pretty good out here.
Yeah, I walked around earlier, man. It was chilly willy. I had a flat tire earlier today, Pep. A flat tire. Not happy about it.
Jeff, I don't know how that stuff happens to you, Jeff. You're always telling me like your refrigerator broke and you're having to move food and then you got to go buy new tires and all kinds of wacky stuff.
I blame Smedberg because Smedberg drives on like dirt roads to get to work. She takes the minivan and she like drives it over mountains in Mead Valley. I go, what are you doing? I said, just drive down Van Buren. But no, it had 2 nails in the tire, and I blame Smedberg every single time.
2 nails, that's a lot. I mean, you got to be really lucky to pick up 2 nails.
Yeah, she's driving through, where people are building houses and stuff. She's driving right through it. Hey, but let's talk a little bit about CBU baseball. Don't they have some preseason action coming up?
They do. They're the preseason number 6 team in the entire country, and we're going to hear from some of the players as well as head coach Gary Adcock. It's right around the corner on the show, but Jeff, I got to run. I'm going to see you guys in the final hour in studio.
Well, Pep, you have fun. We will see you in studio. Bring Cullen in with you because I want to talk about what he did at the Clipper-Celtic game last night. That'll be fun to hear, this little story of Cullen Holt.
You got it. Will do. See you guys.
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios, my little friend.
Mi padre.
How tall do you think Pep Fernandez really is?
5'5.5".
Now, he says 6 feet tall. He's not. He's only 2 foot.
I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he's 2'6".
I tower over
He's
him.
2'6", and he has doll shoes. He wears mini shoes. He has tiny feet. Huaraches
that were bought at La Bufadora.
Not Michoacan?
No, not Michoacan.
La Bufadora. Have you ever been there, Tim Hatch?
Yes, I have. Went to La Bufadora.
I brought $20 with me when I went to La Bufadora, and there's like, when you're walking down this path, and they have these little like huts where they sell
the gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet of baubles and
trinkets.
Yeah. Wait, tchotchkes, as my mother-in-law would say. Is that what it is? Tchotchkes?
Yeah.
And I had $20 in my hand. And I got off the boat because I was on a cruise.
So was I.
Yeah, and I'm walking. I had $20. I left La Bufadora with a truckload of gear, and I think I might have even captured a lizard and took it on the ship with me. An iguana. What about that, huh?
I got a luchadora mask.
What's a luchadora? You mean a lucha libre mask?
Yes.
Where you fight and wrestle?
I will bring it in and let you put it on the wall one day.
I'm telling you this, I have a few of those, but I just do it for fun and chase my children around the house and body slam them.
Well,
do you do that with your granddaughter?
Let's set the record straight. She's
Tim.
my daughter, and no, she's never seen me in the mask. I wear it at school when I teach class.
Yeah, I do make fun of Tim Hatch because he's slightly older, and he has this cute little daughter, Emily. And Tim, your coaching days are behind you, but they have. By addition of subtraction, you are coaching. What team are you coaching?
Fireballs.
The Fireballs. Now, what is the Fireballs, Tim Hatch?
And the not instructional. It's the C League. I hear that. Okay, Greg, I gotcha. Okay.
Okay, tell us about your coaching stint.
She's playing for the Fireballs of the Harupa Recreation League.
What's your record, Tim?
1-1.
So you actually keep scoring this?
Well, this league they do. My daughter wasn't sure if she wanted to play because they were keeping score, but now she's getting into it. We came off a stirring 13-10 victory with the winning shot made by Zeth Dukat.
Zeth Dukat?
You'll hear that name soon.
Hey, we have a caller. Caller, who is this?
This is Ryan Oak.
Ryan Oak.
Do you know this guy?
This is the starting point guard for Citrus Hill High School, Ryan O'Kay.
Is it really?
An aspiring rapper and an aspiring basketball player.
Oh, you know this guy? You know Coach Hatch?
Yeah, he coached me last year.
Careful what you say. We are live on the air there, Okie.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned here. Now, are you still currently playing for the Citrus Hill Hawks right now?
I am. We have a game today in a couple hours.
Well, shouldn't you be getting ready for your game?
Yeah, what are you doing on the phone?
Calling a radio show. I'm going to call Coach Davey Hopkins and have you benched, my friend. Benched? Who do you play tonight there? What's it, Ryan Oaks?
Okie.
Who do you play tonight?
Tackwitz.
Oh, they beat you guys last time, didn't they?
They did.
You are not focused, my friend. You are not focused.
You probably remember Okie. He's Minnie Dikembe.
Oh, I do remember that guy. Hey, good to see you. So what made you call the Inland Sports Show today?
I was informed that Coach Hatch was on the station and decided to drop in and say hello.
Well, that's awesome, Okie. I'll make sure I give you extra credit when I see you in class tomorrow.
I was just going to say, are you one of his students?
I am. I have him in my third period.
Now, did he write the phone number on the board and said, hey, I'm going to be on the radio today. Can you please call in?
Tell the
He did it.
I did not.
Well, how did you get this?
I found out through word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
Thank you.
The Inland Sports Show.
There's a buzz going on campus, Hatch. There's a buzz.
All right. Thank you, Okie.
There's a buzz because Coach Hatch is on the Inland Sports Show today?
There is.
You're the man. I appreciate you, Okie.
Well, Okie, how are you guys doing this year? What's your record overall?
I think, what are we, 15 and 6?
15 and 6. And what place you guys in? What conference you guys in over there?
Mountain Pass.
Mountain Pass. What place you guys in over there?
First.
Tied for first with Tackwitz.
Hey, who's talking in the background over there?
Who is that?
That's Hornsberger.
Oh, that is a member of the coaching staff who came over from Syria.
Is that Hornsby?
That'd be Hornsby.
Hornsby. You know what? They don't have razors that can cut through that beard.
No, they don't.
He got the thickest beard. It's like steel wool.
He's a weed whacker.
I'm gonna bring him over to my house. He's gonna clean my tub. I'm going to rub his face on my tub with some Comet. He's going to clean it really good.
If you ever had a chance to see Hornsby walk, he walks and he's shaking water off his feet.
Well, Okie, good luck to you tonight. We're up against a commercial here, but I hope you guys go out and give Tockwitz a good game, and maybe you can have a nice revenge game tonight.
I hope so. Thank you.
Hey, good luck, you guys.
Well, that would be the Okie, as Coach Hatch would say. And who's the assistant there? Was that Hornsby?
That was.
And Coach Hornsby was in the background, coaxing him to talk. So good luck to the Citrus Hill Hawks tonight versus Tockwitz. We are going to come right back with an interview with the great, legendary Gary Adcock, as we leave you with this great song from Kermit the Frog here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
She comes home from work.
of the year when you see the grass cut and you see everything out and set up. It's college baseball time, and we're excited to showcase what we have this year.
So I'm looking at the schedule for the big alumni event coming up. That's kind of the big kickoff, I would say, each season, right? Having some of the former Lancers come back for the alumni game. Who are some of the players coming back for the alumni game, and what are some of the other festivities going on with that?
Yeah, we've always had the alumni game the Saturday before we open, and once again this year we have it just a week later as we open a week later, so maybe we'll even get a better turnout having it be the first Saturday of February. But right now we've got 50 players RSVP'd. We've got 5 of the ex-pros coming, Adam Hofackett, Tyson Miller, Trevor Oaks, Caleb Dirk, Sharif Othman. So it's always good to see those guys before they head out to spring training. But we've also got some 40-year-olds coming who are anxious to test their athletic ability in the younger generation. So it should be exciting. Yeah, it should be an exciting day for sure.
And then obviously the season opener after that against Dominguez Hills. Based on the guys that are coming back and some of the new faces that we're going to see, whether they're freshmen or transfers like Ryan Moda, who we're going to hear from as well, what do you like about this year's group, this year's team?
Well, you know what? I think it's the best collection of athletes across the board that we've had in our 5 years of Division II. You say that, does athleticism transfer to the field? That's going to be the question. We've got more power than we've had. We've got more speed than we've had. We've got more pitching depth than we've had. So if paper wins ball games, we're in a good position. But, as the cliche goes, we know the paper's irrelevant. It's what we do on the field. So can we translate some of this raw strength, athleticism onto the diamond? We sure hope so, but that'll be the big question.
Well, speaking of being, paper being irrelevant, what do you think of that preseason ranking? Number 6 in the entire country. Obviously, you'd rather be there at the end, but in the beginning, it's kind of nice to have those accolades. I mean, what do you think of preseason rankings and the high expectation for this Lancer program this year?
Yeah, I know a lot of people say preseason rankings they are irrelevant, and I would agree with that. But I do think it's a good judge on where your program's at on solid footing. It's something you can use in recruiting. It's something that you can use within motivation of your team. That ranking's coming from our peers. So apparently, what we've done in recruiting, what we're returning. And the combination of those two things, people think that we have something special. So we hope to be able to validate that preseason ranking and kind of take our program to the next level. We've been a perennial Division II NCAA qualifier. We've made the playoffs every single season. We haven't been able to push on to the World Series, so we're hoping to take it a step further this year.
Is that kind of the carrot dangling in front of this team in terms of being the last full season as a Division II member before you guys make the move to D1 and, again, go out with a bang and really enjoy this last season in Division II?
Absolutely. We've tried to balance it. I know sometimes in sports when you're not just playing the next pitch at a time or the next game at a time and you're thinking too broad, things can catch up on you. But at the same token, we didn't want to bury our head and ignore the obvious, which is, hey, this is the last chance at a Division II national title. So we've tried to predict or balance that out and have the big, broad vision of a national title, but do it in a single pitch at a time focus. And that's going to be what we really try to focus on throughout the year.
Have you started looking ahead to next year in terms of scheduling? And I know being a first-year D1 member, you might have to go to some pretty wacky places, and the travel schedule might look a little different. You have some teams in place?
Absolutely, yeah. We have 56 games in Division I. I think we have 48 or so already on the books, so we're still chasing a few, but we've got a trip to Santa Barbara, and we've got we're going to play University of Washington. We're going to play Kansas State here at home, as well as we're going to play the University of Ohio, but we're going to do that in Atlanta. So, yeah, we're going to be all over the country, all over the map. It's a new challenge. It's going to be an interesting challenge, but we're really excited about that. And we've brought in a great recruiting class that share that vision and that excitement. So once we get through this season, obviously, we'll put our focus on that one. But as a coach, if you're not looking forward, you're getting lost. So absolutely, we're excited about that transition too.
Yeah, you just touched on it, that delicate balance in terms of winning now and enjoying it pitch by pitch, but also saying, there's some big changes coming for the better here for Cal Baptist. We also have to look ahead and make sure we're prepared going forward as well, right?
Absolutely. And I'm a plagiarist. I steal a lot of things from different coaches, and along the way I've stolen some good things, and one of them is, very cliche but often used by whether it be Alabama football or Duke basketball, and we're just trying to stay in the process or be process driven with what's going on and stay within the process and understand that each game kind of is going to build to the next and the next. We have the ultimate goal of obviously winning the national title, but if we can stay immersed in the process, then maybe that eliminates some of the anxiety and angst that comes in key one-run game moments.
So now you get to focus on, I'd call it the fun stuff between the lines, right? The actual games now that we're in season. Is there something different about going through the off season where maybe it's recruiting, maybe it's scheduling, and being able to maybe just put that on the shelf just for a little bit and focus on what's fun out here and actually playing baseball?
Absolutely. I'm a competitor. My coaching staff's a competitor. We like to recruit competitors. So we like to compete in recruiting. We like to compete academically. We like to compete with, spiritual and academic growth, all those things. But obviously we love to compete on the baseball diamond. So as we get closer to that, winning each pitch, winning each game, seeing where we stack up against other quality D2 programs, it's a little bit easier to get up in the morning knowing that that's right on the horizon. Absolutely.
Talking with Gary Adcock, Cal Baptist head baseball coach here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Coach, we've talked about this before, but it's going to be fun to watch the first Lancer make it to the major leagues. Trevor Oaks looks like he's on the cusp. Now he's with the Royals. Adam Hoffacket's right there in the Angels organization as well. Let me go back to Oaks for a moment. Now he was traded to the Kansas City Royals. I know you're a Dodger guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you probably would have loved to see him in Dodger blue on the mound at Chavez Ravine, but now he's with the Royals. Do you think that's maybe like a better thing for him personally?
Yeah, in speaking with Trev and what he's heard from the Royals organization, he's got a realistic chance to even break camp in the rotation for the Royals. And while I think he had that opportunity with the Dodgers, it's probably going to be the Royals in a different position, going a little bit younger, a little youth movement. It's a great opportunity for his career. And, we're going to have four guys really knocking in AAA if all things go right with Adam Hoffacket, Trevor, Caleb Dirks, and Sharif Othman, and then Tyson Miller looming right behind. So yeah, that day is going to be special for a lot of people at the university and our program. It's kind of the culmination of a lot of work. I don't know who's going to make it first. I joke around. Whichever one does, unless we're playing, I'm going to find a way to get there, unless it's in Canada, because I don't have my passport updated. So we're going to have to hope that game's not in up north.
And then going over to Hoffacket, who's also in the Angels organization, might make that trip a little bit easier if the Halos are home, right, down the road.
Absolutely, yeah. Adam was here the other day, and I joked with him, I'm a lifelong Dodger fan, but I'll wear that Angels hat, and it's only 30 miles down the road. We can get there. We'll get there for sure.
We mentioned the alumni game coming up, but some of the former CBU pitchers, do they come back here and they work out and do still things around CBU in the offseason?
Yeah, when they were in low A and A ball, sometimes they even threw, but now as they've progressed their way up, and most of these guys are in AAA or behind them, they just come and take BP, and sit in the dugout and reminisce old stories. So we don't see them on the mound versus us as much anymore, but it's still an enjoyable day.
It's a business now, right? Their livelihood depends on these things.
And I think those aluminum bats, you never know. You don't want to take one where it might hurt.
Those bats for sure. Coach, as we get closer to Dominguez Hills here, what are some of the final touches that you're putting on this program before you see that first real game of the season? Things that you want to clean up and improve.
We got to start defining roles in these next 10 days or so. We've had open competition at spots, and now we've kind of solidified, these maybe are the 12 position players vying for those 8 spots, and these are the pitchers that are going to pitch in that order. So at this point, the next 10 days or so, the major points would be putting guys in a position where they can succeed and having them understand that, maybe that's in the 7-hole or maybe that's in the relief role, where oftentimes, if you think of pitchers, those high school guys that you recruit, all they've done is start. So now you're trying to get them to wrap their brain around the fact that the 7th inning is important, and what they do in the 7th inning can ultimately win games or whatever the role may be. That's kind of the focus that we're shifting toward even as we start today's practice.
Do you like to have players who are versatile, I use the term Little League because in Little League, if you're a good player, they put you all over the field and pitch and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Was it Andy Crowell who was the center fielder and he was closing games?
Yeah, absolutely.
You like to do those kind of
things? I mean, to steal from me, I call it the Bugs Bunny guy. You remember, he played every single position in that cartoon. He threw the pitch, he caught the pitch, he played center field. But no, that's a definite, when you're talking a partial scholarship sport, which baseball is, if you can get a guy to do multiple things, play multiple spots, it's like getting two guys. And our best example of that's probably Andrew Bash, who is one of our top 4 or 5 pitchers and going to hit in the middle of our order, can play some third, can play some first. It ends up being 2 guys. Very difficult to do when you talk about the constraints the NCAA puts on you on practice time and obviously being a student and so forth. But yeah, we have some versatility with this lineup, and I think we'll be able to utilize that more so than we have in years past.
So what's the big deal with Shohei Ohtani and the Halos, and he can pitch and hit? I mean, it's happening right here at CU every year, right?
It is. I'm interested to see how that works at the major league level. 162 games, but
longer schedule.
Yeah, a little longer schedule. But if we can do that collegiately, we look to do that every time.
And Coach, finally, expectations, final year Division II before you guys move into the WAC and get that Division I status. Just your final expectations. Like you said, final shot at a national title at the Division II level. Just your expectations going into this last season as a D2 member.
Well, we shoot for the moon, so to speak. Our expectations are always to compete for a national title and ultimately win it. I learned a long time ago, maybe 5 years into my head coaching career, that unless you focus in on the single pitch and the focus of it and giving the glory to the Lord with everything that you do, that it really presents an incorrect focus. So our focus is on, we're going to give the glory to God, and whatever we do on the field, we're going to focus on the pitch. And at the end of it, if we open our heads up and we look up and we won a national title, then that's great. And if not, we'll learn those life lessons from what happened in that season that we can transpire and use in later on in our lives.
Coach Adcock, you're the best.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate the time. Let's
Thanks.
get a selfie.
Well, yeah, I mean, we need. If Jeff Gorham's over here, he could run the camera, but then, I mean, he's got got the day job, I guess.
He would. I think the shine off your 2 heads, 2 bald heads, might be too much for this.
Well, and he's about a foot taller than me, so I don't know how that would work either. So, but we appreciate you coming out and all the support locally, and we think it's a good product. So, come on out and watch it. We think it'll be an entertaining brand of baseball.
The great Gary Adcock here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, as we go inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. And when we come back here, we're going to keep it at CBU. We're going to hear from some of the Lancers, Ryan Mota, Justin Montgomery, and Luke Navigado. That's when we come back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
This bumper's going to go on the wall of my garage, carnal. I'm going to put a little sign under it. It's going to say, "This bumper was pulled off by the bus of Salinas." I mean, anything for Salinas.
Inland Empire Sports.
Are you all alone?
What's up? What's up?
Who's that?
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
And welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We're talking Cal Baptist baseball. Now we got a couple players joining the show. First, we'll start with Luke Navigato as we go inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. And Luke, man, you're a local guy. You're a Riverside Poly guy. We've talked about this before here on the show, but what's it like being able to play college baseball in your own backyard for a guy like Gary Adcock, who around these parts, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that because everyone knows Gary Adcock in the baseball world in the IE.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great. I mean, growing up, I've always wanted to play college baseball, and what a better chance to play here with a great coach, Gary Adcock. And it's just awesome to finally be in a program that really strives on greatness.
Yeah, speaking of greatness, consistently the Lancers are always one of the top teams in the country, challenging for the Pac-West Conference title. I mean, the expectations are really high. I'm looking around your dugout here at Cal Baptist University, and there's a lot of things just about, what it takes to be a winning team. Mentally, what does it look like? What do you guys do on the field? What does it look like? I mean, how much of this is, just all around, everywhere you look, about that winning culture and keeping your head right?
Yeah, you said it. We strive for greatness here. We're supplied with the best coaches around, and they prepare us on the highest level to be successful and each and every year put a good season together.
Are we going to see you at the top of the order again, second base? Like, what's your role going into this season once again?
Again, whatever they needed me to do, top of the order, coming in late, playing defense, and just doing what I can to help this team win.
Now, you guys are a preseason number 6 in the country ranking. That's really high based on what you guys were able to do last year and the guys coming back. Do you like those expectations? Do you embrace those expectations in terms of being one of the best Division II teams in the entire country?
Yeah, we love it here, being ranked up high, but we just know that it takes the work. We got to put in the work, and we're supplied with all the pieces to the puzzle, and it's just it's up to us to see what we do with it, with the hard work we put in.
Are you fired up about the alumni game?
The alumni.
I mean, see the old guys come back.
Yeah, the alumni game's always fun. Seeing familiar faces, guys in the past. I mean, guys that grinded here, put in the work here, and just coming back and having a good time all together. And they're still competing. They still want to win out here and beat us, so it's real fun.
The old guys think they can still play. Some of them can, I bet.
Yeah, definitely some of them. I mean, we've had draft picks that come back, and just guys that, like I said, just put in the work here, and the competitors, they still think they got it.
Yeah, if we see Hofackett or Oaks on the mound, that might be a different story.
Yeah, exactly. We got to bring our A game.
You guys open with Dominguez Hills, correct?
Yes.
What are you hoping to see out of that first series, that first game right out of the gate? Because obviously, again, going back to those expectations of being the number 6 team in the entire country in Division II, I assume you guys want to, go strong right out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. We're excited to compete. Get into a different opponent. We've been playing each other all fall, all spring, and we're just ready to get on the field and show everybody what we could actually do.
Going back to let's say that West Regional last year at APU, you guys think about that much, or is that in the rearview mirror? About this was a really good team last year. Maybe there's some unfinished business going into this season. We definitely think there's unfinished business. That's stung, and there's a lot of players that were on that team that are returning. And all year we've been trying to compete, getting better each and every day to actually win that regional and go to the World Series this year. All right, that's CBU baseball standout Luke Navigato. Also join us here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE. Starting pitcher for the Lancers, Justin Montgomery, who's an Norco guy, right?
Yep, played in Norco. I'm actually from Corona, but played in Norco High School. Gary Parcell, great coach. Kind of like what we were talking with Luke about, the fact that local guys, Ryan over here, he's a local guy too, being able to play such a high caliber of baseball in your own backyard. Do you get family and friends that's still able to come out here? Oh yeah, all the time. I always have family and friends coming out to the games. Like they love to do that. Like honestly, playing in the backyard, there's nothing better. Like you're gonna put on a show for people that want to see a show. It's awesome.
You guys were so good last year, and again, year in and year out for Cal Baptist baseball. I mean, just look around, you can see all the World Series appearances, postseason appearances. The bar's always set really high, and the fact that this is your guys' final season in the Pac-West Conference as a Division II member. This is kind of the staple question we ask all the CBU teams, but do you guys want to go out with a bang in Division II and really, one last hurrah for CBU baseball here at the D2 level?
Yeah, definitely. You really want to make the most of this last year. It's the last year, like you said, we want to compete the best we can and just go as far as we can. Like, we know we have a shot. We have a shot at winning this season this year. We can make it to the World Series, I think.
Now, the fact that CBU's had so many great pitchers come through this program, we listed a couple of them with Adam Hofackett and Trevor Oaks, just to name two. You're like kind of next in line, I guess you would say. What's it like being able to follow in the footsteps of some really great Cal Baptist pitchers that have come through this program?
It's honestly an honor. You see what those guys have done, and they're the best that have come from this area. And to be honored, be named with them, I don't know, not there yet, but I got to keep competing and working. It's an honor to get there.
And how about your Baseball America rating? I guess they came out with the top 100 prospects, and you found your name on the list. How did you get the news? How did you first hear about this?
I actually heard about it from my dad. He was going on Twitter and all that stuff, and I hadn't even heard about it or saw anything from it. He's like, "Hey, go check Twitter." I'm like, "That's pretty cool." Honestly, it's a recognition thing, but it still means you got to put in the work, and you can't take anything for granted. You got to compete better than anyone, work harder than everyone else to show that you belong to be there.
So, Justin, let's go back to the end of last season up until this point. Are there things that you did during the off-season to improve your game on the mound? Anything that you've been able to change going into this season?
I think one of the main things is fastball command. I've gotten a lot better at throwing a fastball for strikes and where I want to put it, and I think that's that'll be one of the keys for me this season is throwing fastballs where I want it and getting batters out early.
All right, that's CBU pitcher Justin Montgomery here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. And the CBU baseball just continues here on the Inland Sports Show. And another local guy as well, Ryan Mota, formerly of Keinsburg High School and RCC, over here at Cal Baptist now, probably the big bat in the middle of Gary Adcock's lineup this season. And Ryan, talk about the fact that you made that short trip from RCC to join the Lancers this season. How exciting and cool is this for you?
It's outstanding. It's a dream come true to stay in Riverside. Stay close to home, family, coaches, everyone. It means a lot to me, and just to show that I just love staying in Riverside.
I'm with Ryan Mota here again of Kaiser of RCC, and your first season with the Lancers. What's kind of your expectations as you join a program that's already been established and they do well year in and year out? As a new guy, just hoping to fit in and take this team maybe to the next level, like we've been talking about, these postseason appearances.
Yeah, I'm just trying to contribute the best I can, whatever they need me to do. Whether it's first base, pitch, doesn't matter. I'm trying to come in here. It's our last year as D2, so I'm trying to go out with the bang, like you said earlier. And I'm just trying to get a ring and trying to compete and win for this team and this school.
You sound like a Little League guy, because in Little League they're like, hey, the best player, he's going to pitch, and the next game he's going to play first base. And Little League, they play all over the place. But is that your mentality? Wherever Gary Adcock wants to play, you'll be out on the field? Yeah,
wherever he needs me. If outfield, third base, wherever, I'll go play it. Just got to come out here and grind and compete every day to just get better, really, and try to just go out here and win. That's all, really.
What's your approach at the plate? You're a big guy. You can hit bombs. You're a great hitter. What's your approach when you step into the plate? Because a lot of guys, they'll swing for the fences every single swing, but what's your approach?
I just try to keep it simple. I try not to do too much. I try to let the pitcher do all the work, really. The power is there. I don't really have to use it that much. Just make contact with the ball, keep it simple, keep it smooth, get my hands going, and keep my head steady.
Now, we've got great weather here in Riverside. The sun's out. It feels like baseball season. How anxious are the Lancers to get on the field against Dominguez Hills and get this season going?
We're less than 20 days away, I believe. It's kicking in. We're out here grinding. We're competing. We're trying to get better, and each day is a new opportunity to just strive for that national championship and just try to accomplish what we want and what we've been harnessing on the whole fall, and just working what we've been wanting to work for, and just go out here and win a national title.
What was that transition like going from RCC over to CBU? Like, did you obviously you probably left RCC in May or June or whenever, and then you got plugged in over here at CBU. You know, whether it was the weight room, the off season stuff that you guys do. What was kind of your off season? How did it look after you left RCC and came over here?
It was really mental, getting mentally ready to come Division II. It's a division up in junior college, so I just went to summer ball, and I try to be more sharp and more disciplined at the plate. Coming in CBU, we have great pitching here, so I realized that I need to become better as a hitter overall, not just hit for the fence. I need to learn how to hit in situations that I've never been put in before, and knowing that Gary Adcock's coach here, I knew he's a good pitching coach, so it was going to be a challenge for me. So I took that into summer ball and tried to challenge myself actually to become better as a hitter overall, and not just one-minded hitter.
We got Ryan Moda here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Ryan, one more for you. You played for the Palm Springs Power, didn't you, this summer? Talk about the caliber of pitching that you saw out there, and maybe how has that prepared you to be a better hitter this season for CBU?
Oh, it definitely helped me. You got a lot of guys from, whether they're bouncing back from independent league or even major leagues. We play against all sorts of levels in that league. We have guys from our own league playing against Point Loma, Cal Poly, wherever it's at. We have a lot of pitching, so this conference is very well known in Palm Springs Power League, so it helped me a lot to see what to expect coming here. So I just took it in as just do your best and to compete, whether it's to win that bat or win the pitch, and I just try to compete at my best ability.
All right, well, CBU getting set to open up their season against Dominguez Hills in a couple of weeks. A big thanks to Ryan Moda, Justin Montgomery, and Luke Navigato here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. When we come back, we'll talk more about the upcoming Super Bowl next weekend and high school football talk. We'll be back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Sir, I was wondering, did you happen to catch the professional football contest on television last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was most exhilarating. The Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay. And in the end, the Giants triumphed by kicking an oblong ball made of pigskin to a big H. It was a most ripping victory.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
You talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking news, exclusive interviews, and big-name guests in the IE.
Introducing McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu with breakfast favorites for $1, $2, or $3. Like the Sausage McGriddles, small McCafe espresso drinks, the Sausage McMuffin with egg, and
a new gaming console for my son.
No, but
Sports IE 1350 AM KUBE Riverside.
I got a hall pass. What? Can you believe it? I got a hall pass. When does yours begin? 24 minutes ago. Yeah, she's gonna go join Maggie up at the Cape. It's just you and me, buddy, for the next 6 days.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Another great day of theme music from some of the best TV shows in the world. Greg Holla is on the board. He's doing a great job. We are the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m., and we are brought to you by Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. Well, we have a special guest on the line. We are here with the Celebrity Hotline, and we are joined by the voice of the UC Riverside Highlander Baseball, the Cal State Northridge Basketball Team, and Riverside TV Football Game of the Week, Ghazal Hassan. Ghazal, how you doing today, buddy?
You promised that you were going to introduce me as the Mighty Zeus, and I would call you Calabar. But other than that, it's wonderful. I'm in the lobby of the Hyatt Place Davis. I'm in the Hyatt Place in Riverside as well. There's a Hyatt Place in Davis as well, and that's where I am.
So how is it up there in lovely UC Davis today?
Went to shoot around. It is a lovely home court. I think you've seen them before. They have a 17-game home win streak, which is the third longest in the nation. And the Matadors will try to end that streak and try to end their own losing streak against Davis a little bit. But I know you got to see some Big West action yesterday. How did the Eagles get that place, Jeff?
You know, we were out at the Brent Event Center. I think your alma mater, UC Irvine. Am I correct there?
Together we zot, yeah.
Yeah, zot. We were zotting all over the place. But it was a tough game for the Highlanders. They lost 79-40. But the biggest story of the night was losing the most consistent player of the Highlanders, and that's Alex Larson. Alex Larson went down with an ankle injury, and it is yet to be determined if he will be back this year as a as a Highlander.
Oh, that's a shame. He was senior. He had worked so. You know, I've seen Alex for 4 years, and he's gotten to be such a good player in this conference. And if he misses the rest of the year, that's a real shame. I did not know that. I'd heard he's maybe going to miss a couple games, maybe a couple weeks, but if he's gone for a year, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear from Coach Bell. Coach Bell said he'd call me tonight and let me know Alex Larson's availability. But last night we saw him after the game. His ankle was really swollen, and he's a guy that takes a lot of abuse and punishment in the post, and he was writhing in pain, and it was something I have not seen. I've seen Alex Larson the last 2 years, and he's always brushed off these injuries, getting elbowed and falling down. But he had to be helped off. No weight on the ankle. Hopefully it's just a sprain. We will find out shortly here from, like I say, Coach Bell. But I'll tell you what, the Anteaters looked very, very good again this year. Very young backcourt. Evan Leonard, Worku, and then Rutherford really, really put a number on Riverside last night. Riverside just could not stop the onslaught of UC Irvine.
They're really big, as you see, but I thought Riverside would match up well against them size-wise. But yeah, that Rutherford, he is relentless. And all the coaches in the league, the opposing coaches, really love him just because, Jeff, he goes hard. He's got a great motor, and he's obviously very skilled as well. It's a great combination. But it's an interesting week. Aside from, because he sends at Davis, we also got lost at Cal Poly. Cal Poly, you've been at that place. That's a weird place to go play. Long Beach is playing well right now. We got Cal Beach on this, but that'll be a tough out for them at non-athletic center.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams right now that are playing really well. The biggest surprise for me is Hawaii. They played all of those home games in the preseason, and they've opened conference, and they've continued that winning streak. They're 13-5 and 4-1 in the conference. That, to me, I think is the most surprising. I have yet to see Hawaii, but I've heard that they're a lot better than what their preseason said.
Not a surprise to me. I actually picked them second in the preseason poll. I screwed up on Santa Barbara, but I caught myself on the back for Hawaii. They're just so well coached, and they play hard. And as you mentioned, they have a definitive home court advantage. They're actually on the bye today, but your good buddy John Smith will get a trip out to Honolulu because Fullerton plays Santa Barbara at home tonight, and they go Saturday to Hawaii. Apparently, it's just a last travel. They're going to play tonight, the Titans. They're going to get on a plane in the morning to fly to Hawaii, and they got to play Saturday.
Holy smokes! Yeah, that's the toughest thing I think about the Big West is that travel trip to Hawaii can really screw teams up, especially if you're Fullerton. You're playing tonight and you're flying tomorrow and tonight. It's hard to get acclimated to that area, with your body and so forth. But yeah, I think Fullerton has their hands full tonight with Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is no slouch. Those guys went from last to right now they're sitting at 3-2 in the conference. They're 14-5 overall. They're a pretty good ball club, and I think it's mainly because of those graduate transfers they brought in. The one from Rice and the other player from Nevada, and they've really elevated the maturity of that squad.
They have, but you know what, Jeff? They had Gabe Vincent. He was hurt last year, and he came back. Max Heidegger was a freshman. Nobody kind of knew what he would do. He's not a leading scorer in the Big West. And people forget, they were 1-9. The Gauchos were 1-9 last year, and they lost everybody to injury and eligibility, and they split their last 6 games. They went 6-6 down the stretch last year with a second unit team, kind of with a hospital, ravaged lineup. So those kids were there playing hard. And yes, as you mentioned, the grad transfers definitely help. Vincent being healthy definitely helps. And Heidegger he figured out who he was, and the coaching staff figured out how to use him. And now all of a sudden they're 3-2. But remember, they did blow a 20-point lead against Cal Poly in the opening.
They did, and it was a funny shot. It was a last-second shot. Somebody threw a 50-footer up, and they fouled him. The guy hits all 3 free throws and walk away with the victory. Riverside nearly did the same thing at Santa Barbara.
That's right.
Santa Barbara comes into the SRC on Saturday. Riverside's going to be shorthanded. They're still without Dikembe Martin, and now possibly, like I said, without Alex Larson. So it's going to be a very, very difficult task for Riverside to kind of break into that top 8.
I feel for Justin Bell. I know his wife very well. I covered her when she was a UCR women's basketball player. She is, I think Ferrum is still the 5th leading scorer in UCR history from women's side, over 1,400 points. But I'll say this, and we've talked about this off the air. This league is going to be nuts. Right now, you have 7 teams separated by 2 games, and I do think Riverside is going to get a couple of wins people aren't going to expect them to get, and kind of get themselves into the mix for a little bit. I do believe that.
Hey, this is Tim Hatch talking. I'm subbing in for Pep. I'm filling his huaraches today.
Mr. Hatch, how are you, sir?
Outstanding. It's nice to finally meet you.
I loved your interaction with young Colin during the football game.
Oh, he was great. Great guy. Great to work with. He held my hand and led me through the fields of journalism. But I'm a former anteater. Zot. And as I look at this bunching up of the teams, who do you see is breaking out from the pack here as we hit the second half of the season?
We're defense of Davis right now. Davis has a definitive home court advantage as well. It's weird. They actually, in odd number of years, they've not lost games. They went 14-0 in 2015, and they went 11-0 last year. So this is an even number of years. They should probably lose some games this year, but they just play hard. As you're a coach, you understand this, and Jeff understands this as well. The players on Davis, they don't try to do more than they can do. They know who they are, and they do what they're supposed to do. If they're a rebounder, they rebound. If they're a defender, they defend. If they're a shooter, they shoot. They have 3 or 4 guys that can do a couple of different things, but for the most part, they're going to be a good team. I like how Hawaii is coached. Deron Ganot's done a great job with Hawaii as well. Santa Barbara has shown they're going to be pretty good, and then I think as Jeff would agree, Irvine, for me, is the class of the conference, but I do think they're vulnerable because they don't have any seniors. They have a lot of kids who played, but no seniors.
Yeah, and talking about that UC Davis team, UC Davis has I think really 3 excellent players, and they all play different roles. You have Shima Maneki, who is a beast. He's only 6. I think they list him at 6'6". He plays more about 6'9", 6'10". You just throw the ball up to him, he's going to go up and grab it. He's physically an imposing player. He's pretty deadly around the basket because he is physically so strong compared to these other guys in the Big West. And they have a great shooter. Schneider, I think, was outside
Tyler
Heidegger.
Schneider, yeah.
There's a couple shooters in the conference I've really noticed. Evan Leonard, Worku, Schneider, Heidegger. Those guys are fantastic shooters, beautiful looking shots. But they also have a point guard, I believe, a JC transfer from Saddleback, and I forget his name, but he's a excellent player for Davis.
TJ Short, and it's funny, he's not a shooter, but he attacks the lane and he runs that pick and roll really brilliantly. And that's it. And you're a coach, so I think there's 3 elements to winning college basketball. You need your inside-outside guy, you need your point guard, and you need your post guy. Now, I think David doesn't really have a traditional post guy, but because Wienecke is so dynamic, I think he's 10th in the nation in defensive rebounding and 20th overall in rebounding and gets to the free throw line. They have 3 guys that get to the free throw line, which is big, particularly when you're playing on the road.
Yeah, and they're going to flash a lot of guys in that mid-post region, and they try to get the ball to Wienecke as close to the basket as possible, but he can stretch the floor. He hit 2 threes against Riverside when the Highlanders played him at home. So he's really kind of developed his game a little bit more outside, stretching the floor a bit. But like I said, when you have a guy like Schneider, you can reverse the ball to, and he's going to be wide open because you have to double on Wienecke so many times. They're a very deadly and very opposing team in the conference.
Where Davis is dangerous is if one of their big guys has an off night, there's somebody there to pick them up. Some of the other teams in the league aren't like that. You know who I like? I like Fullerton as well. You've seen Fullerton. I love Kyle Allman. I love Khalil Ahmad, Inland Empire kid. And Jackson Rowe, the post guy, is probably one of the better post guys in the conference. We haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him for a couple weeks. But I've liked what I've seen from them so far, what I've watched on television.
Yeah, actually, Riverside, opened the Big West Conference versus Fullerton. Riverside, they played the best game, I think, of the year against those guys. But then you said Kyle Amon hits that traditional 3-point play with 3 seconds left in the ball game, and Dikembe Martin really had to just come down and throw up a half quarter. It looked good, just didn't go in. But man, I'll tell you, Cal State Fullerton has the capability to go in streaks. They can put up 20 points in about 3 minutes just because they press well and their guards are so dynamic and smart. They anticipate passes. The point guard, Coach Smith, Jamal Smith, his son was a walk-on. He's from Rancho Verde. He was a walk-on, now is starting, and he's guarding the best players, the best guards on every team. He's not a guy that's going to go out and fill the stat book, but he does the right things. He gets the ball in the hands of the right players, and I think they're pretty good.
He knows his role. And I like Awishika, too, the kid from Iowa. They have a pretty good two-headed monster at the point, and I love those wings. I know you like it, too. I love those wings. Between Allman on one side and Khalil Ahmad on the other, they have 2 really deadly wings.
Now, let's talk about the Northridge Matadors. How are they doing? Everybody healthy right now with those guys?
They are. They won their last 2, and it's interesting. I asked Reggie Peters Jr. about what he thought was the difference of the team. They said, we kind of just decided we're going to have fun. And it's a lot, what the coaches have really been preaching is just do your job, basically, is what it is. It's like, it's not about ability, it's about intensity, it's about approach, it's about focus. And we need to play together, we need to play hard, and do what you do. If you're not a scorer, like you're talking about Jamal Smith, if you're not a scorer, that's fine, but do what you do well, and we'll be okay.
You guys are riding a nice 2-game winning streak after beating the Highlanders last Saturday. You guys got a nice victory last game, so you guys are looking a lot better than you guys did early in the preseason, that's for sure.
I think, what it is some of the kids, JC kids have adjusted to the D1 speed. Terrell Gomez is playing some fantastic basketball right now. And you know how it is. You were a redshirt, Jeff. You understand this. Just because you can practice with a team, sometimes it will give you the intensity or the focus that it is when you're actually playing in a game. And so Lyric Schreiner has really stepped up for CSUN. He was a kid who redshirted last year. He played for TCU, but he didn't get a whole lot of minutes his freshman year. And now we're seeing, guys, this is why the Big 12 recruited him, because he's got this ability on both ends of the floor. So I just think things are starting to come together. But tonight's a big test. Beating Riverside and Collie is one thing. To come on the road and beat Davis is a whole other animal. And I think it'll be a tough matchup. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm going to flip the switch on you here. I know that you are the voice of the UC Riverside Highlander baseball team, and I know you're tight with Coach Troy Percival. What are your thoughts? I'm gonna switch over maybe to the Angels side of it. What do you think of Vladimir Guerrero making the Hall of Fame and choosing to wear the red hat going into the Hall.
Well, I'm nothing against the Angels. Obviously, I'm invested because I work with Troy, but I thought he should have gone in as an Expo just to be fun to be an Expo. I think there'll be other Angels again. I think Pujols will go in as an Angel. Mike Trout obviously going as an Angel. But I'll tell you a funny story Troy told me about Vlad. Now, like the Latin players, sometimes they use a translator because they don't speak English, quote unquote. Most of them do speak English. They're just not comfortable in a public forum sometimes. They don't want their words misinterpreted, so they use an interpreter. Well, Vlad was a guy who acted like he had limited English language. But Troy realized that whenever Troy would make some kind of an obtuse joke, that Vladimir Guerrero would laugh. And he didn't know if Vlad was laughing just to go along, or if Vlad was laughing because he thought it was funny. So finally he confronted him one day. He goes, Vlad, let me get this. You understand everything I say, don't you? And he started to laugh, and he kind of outed him. He said, yeah, don't believe this guy anymore because he doesn't understand, but he understands everything you say, And of course, Troy, well, he said Vlad was one of the greatest players he ever played with. He had a tremendous amount of respect for him and just was amazed at his consistency and his ability to get big hits. And by the way, let me throw in a little plug. Alumni game on Saturday at the Plex. I think it's at noon, and we'll be carrying that for you on GoHighlanders.com, just FYI.
That was my next question. Now, are you going to be out there calling the game?
I will. I'm going to call the game, and I'm going to drive to the Valley for basketball later. But yeah, I think it's a noon start, so we'll get started early. And, playing on innings. I think most of the broadcasts will be, we're going to try to get some of the big leagues up in the booth and just kind of talk about what they've been up to. That Chinsky usually stops by, Matt Andrews will stop by and say hello, Joseph Kelly will stop by and say hello. So if you have it in the Empire family, you should have it out there, get some shots at the big leagues.
Well, I will definitely bring my family out. We'll make it a nice day. Hopefully it'll be a nice sunny day in the at the Plex down there with Ghazal Hazan and the UC Riverside Highlanders in the Alumni Fest, I guess, or Alumni Game. Now is Cole Percival, do you know if he's going to be in the rotation this year for the Highlanders?
Troy's very kind of close to the vest on that. He's going to be one of the guys. They have about 6 guys, both tipping the gun at about 90 to 95. Cole is definitely one of them. The couple of times I went out to see him in fall ball, he did start. So I'm imagining he's going to be one of the weekend guys. But I think the way Troy does things, the first couple of weeks of the season, he tries everybody everywhere to figure out kind of where they're going to be best. Because just like in basketball, as you know, it's not always easy to determine what a player is until you see him against full speed.
Well, I'm excited to see this Highlander baseball team. I know they had a great recruiting class. I know there's been a lot of hype around bringing in these local players, Troy Percival being one of the best players in the history of Riverside. And it's going to be fun to watch the Highlanders play this year, and I'm looking forward to listening to Ghazal Hazan call the games for the Highlanders this year. Thank you, Ghazal, for joining us tonight, and good luck tonight with the big Northridge Matadors.
Hey, I'm getting on the bus right now. Thank you guys. You guys are doing a great job recapping the great kid match. And I'm happy to finally been able to speak to Coach. So good luck. And hope Lafayette doesn't get well this year, Coach. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Hey, give Big Blair my best. Blair Orr, my favorite.
I will. I'll say, Blair may get in today, so I'll let him know for sure.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you again. That's Ghazal Hazan, voice of the Cal State Northridge Matadors and your UC Riverside Highlanders. We're going to go over a couple scores here, or a couple of games that are going to be going on in the Big West tonight. Long Beach State is at Cal Poly. They're playing at 7 p.m. Like we said, CSUN is at UC Davis and UC Santa Barbara. A big game tonight versus Cal State Fullerton at Cal State Fullerton. And Saturday night, we have Cal Poly at Davis, UC Santa Barbara at Riverside, Long Beach State at CSUN, and the trip that we just talked about, Cal State Fullerton, leaving tonight post-game to play at Hawaii at 10 p.m. local time on Big West TV. We will be right back. Pep Fernandez is making his way back to the studio, and we will have more here from the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports, 1350 AM. Well, East Coast girls are it, I really dig. The way they talk, they knock me out when
Innovative things are happening and teaching today, and you can be a part of it.
Make more. Teach. Visit teach.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Doesn't it look like I am ready? I am always ready. I have been ready since first call. I am ready. Roll.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
One of the greatest TV shows ever, Perfect Strangers. Oh, Greg, you are bringing your A game today with all these great shows from the 80s and 90s. Well, we are back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350, and I believe, Pep Fernandez is on the phone. Pep, are you with us?
Don't be ridiculous.
Belky Bartakamus.
Yes, Cousin Belky.
Belky Bartakamus. How would I not? Man, I know everything about TV. Everything.
Larry Appleton was his cousin, wasn't it?
Larry Appleton. Yes, you're right.
Okay, what about the greatest American hero?
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could be so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Did you like that?
No, see, yeah, I know the song. I don't know the show, but I know the song because George Seinfeld had his phone message after that song, right?
He did. Did you know? Here's a little trivia for this. Did you know the name of Tim might know this. Did you know the name of the character of the Greatest American Hero? His name? Oh. His last name? Do you remember? I'm going to tell you why they had to change it.
I remember William Catt was the guy.
William Catt was the guy. He was also in a great movie, House. Do you remember House?
Yes.
Great movie. Okay, here's this deal though. On Greatest American Hero, William Catt, the character, was named Hinckley.
Oh, John Hinckley.
His name was John Hinckley, and the show debuted 2 days prior to the Reagan assassination attempt, so they had to change his name to Hinckley. Bet you did not know that. Did you know that, Pep?
No, I did not.
I know you probably don't care, but that was a big part of history, is that they had to change the name because he had the same name as the attempted... Oh, this is another great song. We got the Pink Panther here. Hey, Pep Fernandez, tell us this. How was that big kickball game you had out there in the City of Champions?
The biggest of the big kickball games. I'll tell you what. So Pacific is still in first place. Big 3-1 winning in Ciudad del Lago. And they've got a forward named Miguel Monares. And, man, he was... The best word I could describe is he was magical. He was making so many great plays. The guys around him better, setting up goals, and he had a wonderful strike for a goal. So Pacific's really good. So the quality went to the Pirates. And, again, they can make a deep playoff run come to a crucial time.
Pep, I have a question for Jeff, because I was listening the other day as he referred to a soccer field. Is it not the soccer pitch?
It is the pitch. But I refuse to call it a pitch sometimes because, I don't call it, I should call it soccer. I should actually football. Football is the correct term. Football. But I prefer the term kickball because I used to be a great kickball player growing up, in my grade school days. I don't know. Pep, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're done there with that one. Let's talk about UC Riverside. We just had Gazal Hazan, voice of the UC Riverside Highlander baseball program and the Cal State Northridge Matadors. They are playing in a big game tonight, and we discussed our game last night when UC Riverside battled the Anteaters of Irvine and went down 79-40. But some big storylines in that game last night in Irvine.
Yeah, I guess any way you slice it, it's not going to be good. We talked about the fact off the top of the show that, they didn't give up, and that's the good news. Like, the effort was there till the final whistle, but the bad news is they lost big. Alex Martin got hurt. DK's still not playing. Like, it's just not a good team right now. But you know what they say, like, being down and out this bad only creates an opportunity for a huge turnaround. So I guess, the effort's there. If they can turn things around, it'd be a great story to talk about at the end of the season about how UCR was able to take a disastrous season where the head coach was fired and the top players were hurt or suspended, and they were losing games, and they were able to bounce back and turn things around. We both love Justin Bell, the interim head coach, and we've got a lot of faith in him. And you can tell the guys do too, because they're still going hard. They're still going 110%. So I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that this is being set up to have a huge bounce-back story that we can talk about for a long time.
Hey, Pep, and they're Division I athletes for a reason. They're competitors. They played with some type of skill and determination to get to this point, and it sounds like they're battling, and they're trying to make the best of it. Tough situation, and so kudos to them for hanging in there.
Yeah, I'm a big body language guy. I know it sounds kind of weird, but, the guys weren't holding their heads down. It's not like anyone wasn't jumping up and getting to the huddle during the timeout. I watch those kind of things. Like, are guys rolling their eyes? Are they arguing with the assistant coaches outside the huddle? Like, what's going on? And they're all still one cohesive unit, and they're all going hard to that final whistle, and nobody's pointing fingers. I mean, I guess if you're looking for a silver lining, that's the good news. That's the good news, but they still don't have a Big West Conference win.
Well, Riverside will play UC Santa Barbara on Saturday at the SRC here in Riverside. You and I had a chance to see Santa Barbara a couple weeks ago, and they're a pretty dangerous ball club, don't you think?
Yeah, they're really good. In fact, Jeff, you said right after the game, before you got your big sandwich, that the Gauchos could win the conference. They were that good.
Yeah, they have a couple graduate transfers, one from Rice and one from Nevada. And Heidegger was, I think, one of the most improved players I've seen in the conference. He came out. He's the leading scorer in the conference. And he's one of those guys that is very electric. He can go out and streak and get 10, 15 points in a couple minutes. And I think Santa Barbara's dangerous. I think the team we just saw last night has the capability to win that conference tournament as well, because Irvine is coached so well by Russell Turner. He brings in an excitement into that program. We saw they played 12 guys. All of them made contributions to that program. So Irvine, you have Cal State Fullerton, you have Davis, and you have Santa Barbara. Those teams are really, really good.
What about Hawaii? You didn't mention Hawaii.
We have yet to see Hawaii. Pep Fernandez will be in Hawaii in 2 weeks. Well, he's going to be wearing his Aloha shirt.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's got puka shells. I'm going to bring him for him. So you can
grass skirt? Will he put on a grass skirt?
Only if you ask nicely.
Well, last night we were hanging out. We did our show from the Brent Event Center at Irvine. We walked around. Before the game, we're taking pictures with the picture of Scotty Brooks, my nemesis. And then I looked down, and who did I see? I see head coach Brandon Baker of the Rancho Verde. And we went down and had a nice little conversation with Coach Baker, didn't we not?
Yeah, it was awesome. In fact, we ran into him with the whole team. He had the whole team, and what was pretty cool was he was talking about he likes to take his guys to all these college games. He said they were going to make a trip to Fullerton. Of course, they get out to UCR. They're going to go to Biola, some of these other places. So it gives his high school players at the Rancho Verde a chance to see some college basketball, but also, talk to some of these assistant coaches, and some of these guys will be playing college basketball at the next level when they leave Rancho Verde. So, Brandon Baker, great coach. We got a ton of respect for him, but also going to the second level, like going beyond just being a coach and helping these guys prepare for the next level, whether it's meeting some of these college coaches or just putting the environment in a college arena like UC Irvine, like we saw last night. And I think that's a real big positive, it's a cool thing that Coach Baker can do for his team to get his players out there like that.
Yeah, and then he gave us a little bit of news. He told us that Jackson Turner had somebody offer him a scholarship for football right there when we were sitting and talking to him.
Yeah, the Cal Golden Bears. So he's a big-time player. I mean, he's so fast and athletic as a defensive back. He's going to punch his ticket pretty much anywhere he wants to go. He's got a bunch of offers starting to roll in. He's going to get a lot more. But, yeah, it was the Cal Golden Bears coming in last night.
And then we found out that Rancho Verde lost to John W. North earlier in the week, which creates a three-way tie for that league championship.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. I was sitting there with my Jolly Ranchers and my coffee, and I was about to ask him, hey, Coach, are you going to run away with the Inland Valley League title? And And he cut me off at the pass and said, no, we actually lost the North. I was like, whoa, what's going on? So he said they played North this week, and North just had a really hot shooting game, and they beat them at Rancho Verde, like in the Mustangs' home gym. And he said it was standing room only. It was packed. It was loud. It felt like a fantastic environment for basketball. So that was all good. But the Mustangs came out on the losing end, and now we've got Poly, Rancho Verde, and third in Chicago, all tied for first place in league now. So now the second time through, the second rotation through league play is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting because you think about it. Rancho Verde goes into the Bears Den, beats Poly by 20. Then Poly beats North at home by 1. And then Rancho Verde goes and beats North. Just a wild, wacky stuff going on there. It's a big week here for the Bears, the Mustangs, and the Huskies. And just a little side note, it looks like Tobin Kuhn will be making his appearance again. It looks like his gastrocnemius is healed up, and he's been running. And it looks like he will be playing this week, possibly tonight, for the Bears.
Well, thank you for that update, Dr. Gorham.
Thank you. I had a nice, brief conversation with Greg Kuhn, father of Tobin Kuhn, and he said he's been running for the last few days, and things are looking good and has a possibility of playing.
It's excellent, man, because they're a different team when he's out there. He is their sharp shooter. You've seen him pile up, what was it, 11? He was 11 three-pointers, right? Set the new school record.
Yeah, he set the school record, I think it was early in the year, and I think he broke or tied the record on a three-point play, and I think that kind of brought the team together early in the season, and they kind of steamrolled ever since.
Yeah, Anthony Dobson's a great coach, but we weren't really sure, if Poly was going to be, the team to beat in the Inland Valley League. Were they on the rebound? They kind of had some down seasons, but it looks like Poly basketball is back. And Rancho Verde's never left, and same thing for Mike Bardeen and his team. And you know what? Don't forget about Valley View. Don't sleep on Valley View. They're going to be in the mix as well. They could maybe trip somebody up as we come down the stretch here in league play.
Yeah, Jim Long, one of the great coaches here in the Inland Empire, always has great athletes out there at Valley View. He's one of those guys that can knock off somebody. There's a couple big games in the River Valley League tonight. The Super Duper Harupa is playing Norte Vista. So my dad's going to be sitting on the bench. I don't know which team he's going to sit on, but he's going to be there. And then Patriot is playing a short-handed Ramona team. Ramona has to sit 6 guys tonight because of that melee that they had at Harupa Valley. So that sets up the big game of the night. That is Hillcrest versus La Sierra. So that has implications to be for a league championship as well.
You tell me Justin Norman might win that game?
I'm not. I have to be mean and say he's going to lose. But no, they do have a shot. I think, Justin Norman is one of those guys that will get his team ready to play. He can always make adjustments. He makes adjustments better than any coach I've seen in the Inland Empire. He's one of those guys that gets the most out of his team. They play very hard. He doesn't have a skilled team like he's had in the past, but Hillcrest has had some tight games. They barely beat Ramona, and they barely beat Patriot. So there's a shot there, an outside shot, that La Sierra can sneak in and possibly stir things up in the River Valley League.
La Sierra's 3-2 going into this. Never bet against the Ginger Justin Norman. He's for real.
No, he's really not for real.
You guys were reading my mind because I was thinking about that Ramona game, and I remember Coach Wood from Hillcrest tweeted out that Ramona battled them for 3 quarters. I mean, Hillcrest barely salvaged that victory against the Rams. So whatever Ramona did in that game, if I was Justin Norman, I'd go back and find that video and take a look at it, because Ramona did something to slow them down and keep it close for the better part of 3 quarters. It was close until the finish.
Well, Pep, we're up against a little time here. We got to thank our sponsors, and we will be right back, hopefully with Pep in studio. I know you're jockeying on the freeways trying to get over here to the studio.
I'll be there. It's a battle. I'm just like the UCR basketball team. I'm not going to give up.
Oh, good. Well, this is Pep Fernandez. I'm Jeff Gorman. He's Tim Hatch. This is the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM. We will be right back after this short commercial break. hopefully with Pep Fernandez and Cullen Holt talking about his Celtics Clipper experience from last night's game. Once again, Fox Sports, 1350 AM.
You ready to go back out there?
Yeah.
All right, you sure? Can you do this? Rolling with the homies.
Rolling with the homies.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready?
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
So you talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350 for breaking.
soup, shrimp stew, shrimp salad, shrimp and potatoes, shrimp burger, shrimp sandwich. That's about it.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350. We're listening to some Beaker of the Great Muppet Show. Speaking of the Muppets, we have some big news today in the world of sports. Tim Hatch and Greg Holla. Guess what that news is?
Let me guess. There's going to be a new football league. Dang it.
You're pretty good. Yes. Without, you wouldn't believe it, since 2001, Vince McMahon gave up the XFL. He hate me. You remember that guy?
Yes. I heard he put a copyright out on that shirt.
Yes, and do you remember the it was like wrestling. There was like, you throw the ball across the middle, you could hit guys. Well, guess what, guys? The XFL is coming back, baby! Woo! And I'll tell you, it's going to be great. Yeah, look at, we got some wrestling, some WWE, Hulkamania. But guys, it's not going to be like you think. The XFL we once knew is not going to be what it is going to be, because in 2 years, the XFL is going to open its doors again, and they're going to have 8 teams of 40-man rosters. They're going to play a 10-game season beginning in January of 2020.
So are they going to play in the off-season from NFL?
No, what they're going to do is they're going to play, they're going to start in January, late January, and they're going to play 10 consecutive weeks, and they're going to pick 10 cities, or 8 cities across America. I'm guessing they're going to hit the areas that don't have football teams. If I was building a team right now, or a conference, or a league, I would hit the NASCAR circuit. A lot of those places don't have football teams, but you do get a nice following of NASCAR. They're not going to have the dancing girls. They're not going to have the crazy storylines. San Diego could have a team. That's true.
The Unchargers.
But Vince McMahon, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Vince McMahon sold over $100 million worth of his stock out of the WWE.
To fund it?
To fund this himself. He's going to be the sole owner. He's not going to have any partners. You remember, he had the Donald Trump was one of his partners in the original XFL in 2001. Well, this time he's going to fund it completely by himself. He's going to pay the players. He's not going to have he's going to have no criminals in the WWE XFL. They're not going to have Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel tweeted out earlier today that he wanted to be a part of the XFL, but Vince McMahon in his press conference said that he's going to have no criminals. That leaves out Johnny Manziel because he's a felon.
See, this brings up a lot of questions. One of the questions I would say is venue-wise. Like, you look at, say, the Chargers squeezing into the Carson...
The StubHub Center.
And then charging $100 for parking. What kind of arenas are they going to get to, or what kind of stadiums do you think they could get into?
Well, you mentioned San Diego. San Diego would be a good hot spot because they do love their football. The thing is, you have an outdated stadium at Qualcomm, so that could be an issue. But there are several. You think about, there are several other areas that they could play. They could play. Nashville would be a great one in the offseason because a lot of those guys, they love their football. You have some of those Midwestern towns. Indiana, that would be another great place to start.
Would this be like a minor league where they would take players who've been cut from NFL teams?
No, that's the point. It's not going to be a minor league. It's going to be its own entity in itself, and they want to try to build this professional league to compete with the NFL.
So you have a player making a couple $1 million a year for the Chargers, for the Rams.
Yes.
So they're going to try and fight for those free agents to stock their teams with quality players.
Yeah, and they're actually going to pay their players a little differently. They're going to pay their players based on wins. So if your team is winning, you're going to pay a little bit more. So there's going to be more incentive to play football in this league. So you might have some pretty good football.
Rather than tanking to get good draft picks, you want to make more money, you're going to play harder to get more wins.
Yeah, and if you have one owner for those 8 teams, it's going to make it interesting because guys are going to play hard to get those extra bucks coming down the line.
I they going to have rules like the CFL where you can get a running start?
No, they did that in 2001. They used to have strange,
I remember that.
But the one thing they are going to do is they're going to make all the games are going to be under 2 hours. So that makes it a little more fun to watch TV-wise because you look at the NFL, they dropped 12% this year again. Yep. Last year, 9%. So let's just take this in a thought here. If you are making $100 million, you're going to lose $12 million of every $100 million. That's a lot of money. You're losing a lot of fans. But if you can gain some of those fans back, there's not going to be any political issues in this new XFL. If you choose to air your political laundry, you're not going to be part of this program. And it was stated that today by Vince McMahon.
So I wonder how they're going to do the advertising because, that's where NFL makes a lot of their money is the advertising rights and the sponsors.
Well, you look at the way the TVs run now. There's a lot of social media out there. You can play games through Facebook. You can play games through YouTube. You can play games through Instagram. All of the social networking that you see today, people are going to pay for those games. The NFL went through Facebook and Twitter the last couple years, just playing a few games here and there. That could be a big market for the XFL.
I've heard a lot of things recently how the NFL market has decreased. Some people are attributing it to the rise in popularity of the college game and that there's so many windows open for watching college that it detracts from when they watch the NFL product. So you think that energy-wise and enthusiasm-wise as players, this could rival college football?
I think it can make it interesting because the teams will be playing really, really hard because if it's going to be incentive based off of your winning. So if your team is winning, you're going to get some money. But think of this: if you were playing, say, if you're an ex-quarterback, a guy that maybe you could be a Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow could play, come out of baseball, but come play in the XFL and make a name for himself. That I think would be a great idea. You have these older quarterbacks, maybe that weren't great enough to play in the NFL, but were still good athletes that might be able to play for these
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles. How dare you besmirch the name of Blake Bortles? But it's going to give the opportunity for some of these quarterbacks, some of these other great running backs, receivers, skilled guys, an opportunity to shine and play the game they love. So there's a lot. Think of it this way. It might be a minor league to start, but it could build into something very, very good.
CFL guys. They could attract some of the CFL guys who fell through the cracks, NFL-wise. Another Dieter Brock. Warren Moon.
Yeah, Warren Moon. But yeah, the biggest thing I was thinking of, you're going to get some of these Heisman Trophy winners. Johnny Manziel, like you said, he said XFL 2020, Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon shot him down. The teams will be formed in 2019, and it gives them a year to prepare for the 2020. And it's going to be, like Vince McMahon said, it's going to be a 52-week job. So these guys are going to be entrenched in the cities that they choose of these 8 cities. So they'll be a part of society and kind of build from there. And I think that's a pretty good idea.
So with him being the only owner, how do these cities establish relevancy?
How will they establish? What was that?
How do they establish relevancy? So let's say the city of Nashville. If Vince McMahon is the only sole owner, how do they get the franchise there?
Well, he's going to pick the cities himself, and then he'll pick general managers, he'll pick owners, or not owners, he'll pick general managers, coaches, and so forth, and then they'll build from there. And I think it could be something if it's not treated in a way it was in 2001, when it was more of a novelty. Watching WWE or a Rocky III movie, it's something a little different.
And you remember old times that they used to do regional drafts?
I do.
So I wonder if they could do a regional draft with this. So if you're an SEC area team, then you're going to have a larger talent pool than, say, a Midwestern team, possibly.
Yeah, and I think they're aiming for large to medium-sized markets. And I really think this is a pretty good idea. He said every city is on his radar. So could the Inland Empire, could Southern California get a team?
Where would they play in the Inland Empire?
Ramona High School.
An incredible stadium.
No, but I mean, you got to have something that will sustain and make money for this product. So it could be a number of places. The Bay Area could get another team. There's the stadium that the San Francisco 49ers play in is not. It's Levi Stadium. That's a bad stadium. I'm sorry to say. I know Pep loves the 49ers, but
Is Candlestick still open? They tear it down.
No, Candlestick is doomed. I think it's gone completely. But that was a place you'd go to. Have you ever been to the Candlestick?
No.
Okay, when I was a young boy, I used to go to the Giants games, and they would give you a button that said, "I survived the stick," if you stayed past the 7th inning. So I would go up and visit my family, and you would get the 7th. Hey, Mr. Pep Fernandez is joining us.
We're back.
Pep Fernandez, we were just talking about the new XFL. What are you thinking about this?
It's more football, so I'm down. I don't know. I guess it's cool.
But is that Cullen with you?
Intern Cullen, why don't we take a break?
Yeah.
He wants to talk about the Clippers.
I can't wait.
He was at Staples Center last night.
Did he bring us gifts?
Did you bring us stuff? No, he didn't.
Oh.
He's looking dapper.
Well, we will be right back. We're going to discuss Cullen's excitement and winnings last night at the Clippers-Celtics game here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports 1350 AM.
Yeah, I know you're starting to like it, aren't you? Chop that wood. Yeah, that's it. Ow! You're sick! You're sick! Why would you do that to me? I'm just kidding you, pal.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sports Show.
You talk to the radio?
On Fox Sports IE 1350.
The new look for the 90s. You're gonna be the first pirate.
Well, I don't want to be a pirate. You look like a cowboy, huh? I don't want to be a cowboy.
Yes, you're like Switzerland.
I don't want to be Switzerland.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
But I don't want to be a pirate.
I don't want to be a pirate.
Congratulations, Pacific Pirates. Great boys soccer team. Big win today against Vista Del Lago 3-1. It's great to be back in studio with you guys, the pros here on the Inland Sports Show.
Oh, it's been a rough one, Pep, without you. I have to be the serious guy, and I don't like ever being serious because I have to follow
serious
tasks.
Jeff.
I don't
He's really annoying. He's really annoying.
I don't like following tasks. I just like to be the
more so than normal.
I like to be the silly heart, the fun guy.
I got him one time. I pointed at that. I went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, it's not fun when I have to be. I'd much rather just be the silly, fun guy.
Well, intern Cullen and I had a great day doing some high school soccer. You know, just spreading the wealth here on the Inland Sports Show. But last night, we were at UC Irvine doing UC Riverside basketball. But intern Cullen was at Staples Center. We'll make this quick. He was actually on the floor for a big contest for the Clippers. So Cullen, how did this actually work out? Because you just messaged Jeff and I like in the middle of the UC Irvine game.
I didn't believe it
By the
either.
way, I'm in a contest at Staples Center at the Clippers game.
What Clippers game? I was there for Disney on Ice.
Oh!
Yeah! That was much of a basketball game. Two of the
Celtics game, excuse me.
Celtics. What?
What happened, Cullen?
No, I had to go down on the court in between quarters and just kind of do a live report for ESPN. Actually, no, that's not what happened. So I went out on the court and I had to collect beach balls and put them in Smart and Final grocery carts. And for every beach ball that I put in there, I got $50 to Smart and Final.
And you won, right?
I lost.
Oh!
But I still got.
Wait, hold on. He's gonna throw someone under the bus.
I still got the gift cards.
But why did you lose?
I lost because of the thousands of people on the east end of Staples Center couldn't bat the beach balls onto the court fast enough.
It wasn't his fault.
They were throwing them from the
top level
and then he'd
down,
collect them and put them in
and
the
then I have to
shopping
collect them. Yeah,
waiting there.
I just had to wait.
How'd you know? Did you say
fault.
the east side?
I don't know. I just made that.
I'm like, you're
He's
smart.
very
right?
directional.
All right,
you know?
I was on the east side of the court. I was running over there. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was pretty good there.
But it was pretty cool that Cullen was able to give us a live report from the Clippers-Celtics game while we were at UC Irvine.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We're all grown up.
Yeah, Cullen, did you have fun, though, last night?
I did have fun. They took me deep in the bowels of Staples Center, the catacombs.
The bowels?
It's the bowels, man.
The bowels.
Deep in the bowels.
Oh,
I don't like going deep in the bowels.
Hey, I have IBS.
You do?
Yeah. Irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah! Oh, well, good job.
Yeah,
No more. Yeah! Woo!
Jeff's back.
Man, it was a
Jeff's
rough day,
back.
guys. Rough day. Flat tires, trying to mess with his computer. It was just a nightmare. Pep.
Hey, did you guys notice in the Gary Adcock interview for Cal Baptist Baseball that he was mentioning the teams that they're going to play next year on that Division I baseball schedule? Did you guys were you paying attention to my interviews?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes,
no, but he was saying like UC Santa Barbara and Washington. Like nothing against some of these Division II
Washington
schools.
was really good.
You know what I mean? Like nothing against Dixie State, Humboldt State. Like I'm a lumberjack. Nothing against these schools. But when you start bringing up UC Santa Barbara and the Washington Huskies, like that's who CBU is going to be playing. Like I get excited about it.
That's pretty exciting. And I'll tell you what, Gary Adcock is really the best. Best guy. I say this because I know him personally. He's a really good dude, but a great baseball mind.
And he always gives me a hard time about selfies. Like I'm kind of self-conscious doing selfies. Is that a thing? Being self-conscious about selfies. Like he always gives me a hard time. Like, are you gonna take a selfie?
You're selfie conscious.
But you know what? He had a guy, the CBU baseball guy who does Instagram and Twitter. Like I was interviewing, and Gary's like, "Oh, let's get a picture together and put on there." I'm like, "Wait, hold on." So you're giving me a hard time about the selfies. You're the one that wants to take pictures.
And then he said something about you said something about my bald head to him.
You did.
What did I say?
We heard
that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you said
something about the shine off their heads.
Yeah, you couldn't both be in the same picture.
See, we took notes.
Yeah,
shiny heads.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's Jeff?" And I think I said something like, "Oh, I don't make enough money to pay him, and plus two bald heads next to each other, which wouldn't be good for the video camera."
It would not. Definitely not.
Hey, it's been a great show, hasn't it?
Hey, you were awesome,
It was
Pep.
wonderful. Hey, we're brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by great customer service and low prices. Jeff went there today, and he's got the mint to prove it.
Actually, Tim Hatch went there today.
Tim Hatch went today.
And I brought the mint to put on the wall.
Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. Check out the new Overtime program. Ken Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, bringing you all your sporting gear needs. And Letterman's Jackets, kensportingoods.com. And finally, Catalano Motors in Corona, off to Mescal Canyon Road, where you can buy, you can trade, you can finance, make that car shopping experience very easy at Catalano Motors. Catalano Cars is the website, catalanocars.com. All right, tomorrow on the show.
Big show tomorrow.
What are we doing tomorrow on
I have no idea what we're doing tomorrow.
We'll get you all set for UCR taking on UC Santa Barbara. Hopefully that'll be the night. Saturday will be the night, hopefully, right?
First victory. I can't wait. Go Islanders!
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
And
R's up.
Throw your R's up, right?
Yeah, throw your R's up.
And we'll also make sense of a big night of high school basketball as well.
Oh, big game.
Will La Sierra beat Hillcrest?
Hey, my money is on the Justin Norman.
We'll find out tomorrow, 3 o'clock. The one and only Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
You can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all inside of me. the chocolate.
Inland Empire sports fans turn to the Inland Sport